welcome to First Blood. It's the irreverent League of Legends talk show. And just right from the start, we say we'd like to welcome back Summoning Insight as well, our alleged rivals in what they do. Great to have two shows running side by side. I'm Richard Lewis, your host for this irreverent League of Legends talk show, the man who knows nothing about League, apparently. Just as well, then, I've got two wonderful co-hosts to prop me up. It is, of course, Ram, Jamal, a.k.a. Brokenshard. How are you doing, brother?
A.k.a. Broken Table.
Yes.
A.k.a. Pantry Shard. A.k.a. Red Buff Shard. And so many names, so little time. I guess I'm good.
That sounds promising for the show. We'll watch your mental state slowly break down over the course of 2 hours, like every week. And of course, Joshua Atkins, Nintendudex, the man going for LCS glory, is the only way to escape my evil clutches. How are you doing, Josh?
Doing good. I think we got the internet issues solved. Got both my Koreans in America. We're good to go.
And no party in your room today either, which is
No.
No.
I'm back in the room that I did the second half of the show from, so it won't be loud as fuck. So we're good.
Awesome. And our very special guest, after Prolly cruelly stood us up after we dropped all those hints on Trash Talk yesterday, but he is by no means a poor replacement. It is, of course, Vander from Roccat. How are you doing, Oscar? You good?
Yeah, great, thank you, and hello, everyone.
Excellent. Well, we usually start with, we jump right into the news, but there's a couple of things I want to do right from the get-go. First thing I want to say is that the next sub for the channel will be the 69th subscriber. I don't know why that number has any significance, but just putting that out
You're about to get 30 subs. I hope you know that. You're about to get like
just
30
saying,
or 35 subs.
If you want to be the coolest sub ever, that's how you do it. I also want to point out as well, I don't know if you guys know a lot about Dawngate, but Dawngate got shut down. And while we're all thinking, oh, that's great, one less MOBA to challenge the dominance of League of Legends, one of League of Legends' favorite sons was involved in that project. Of course, Zekent, or Zekent, however you pronounce it. He was working over there as a game developer, helping the Dawngate team. And he now finds himself jobless. And he was a great guy. I used to love interviewing him and, chatting to him behind the scenes. So wishing him all the best and hope he returns to League. That'd be awesome. So there we go. And we'll start with you, Oscar. I just want to ask how you're getting along, how things with Roccat are. Obviously, there's been, some shake-ups there. So I thought Yeah,
thanks. We've changed the top lane and AD carry. We moved Overpower from the mid lane to top lane. I know it can surprise a lot of people because, I saw many comments. They're like, "Oh, why you're kicking the top laner and you're switching the mid lane instead of him?" But I think Overpower, his kit and how he plays, it fits the top laner more than mid laner, and I think he will find himself good at this position. I hope so. For the AD carry role, we have Woolite, who was previously the Copenhagen Wolves AD carry. Yep. He got the LCS Rookie award last season. I think he's a great addition to the team. I hope you guys think that as well. And for the mid lane, we still have no player yet.
So, any shortlist? Any kind of sneak reveals? Anyone that stood out in trials? We do like to get all the gossip here live.
We all know who people are matching to our team for the mid lane currently, but I can't give you any hint or can't tell you yet who this guy is gonna be.
Well, hopefully Nuke Duck comes through for you. I think that'd be a good fit. I'll just put that out there. I can get away with it.
No confirmation.
But it's great to have you on, and I'm looking forward to getting your insight into the topics that we're going to talk about. Now, we've got a pretty bumper week, although perhaps not as crazy as previous weeks. So I think we'll start with CLG, because we didn't really get a lot of time to talk about them last week, and I believe Josh has been scrimming against them, or hoping to scrim against them shortly. So Seraph, it looks likely he's going to leave, and I wrote this story up, and basically I don't think it surprises anybody. We've talked on the show about how, there were 4 guys plus a Korean, but what I found interesting was that when I was digging into the story, it actually seems to be all his decision, that he didn't enjoy it in the team, that he felt quite lonely and distant from his teammates. And without Monte Cristo being there, he really felt like he had no reason to stay. And it's not a case of that he hasn't fitted into the American lifestyle. The guy wants to stay in NA, with LMQ being a likely destination. So, dude, I will start with you. What do you think of this? I mean, it was kind of inevitable, I guess.
I mean, I think the only people that didn't see this coming were the Seraph fanboys. And there happen to be a lot of them lately. He's been streaming, getting good stream numbers, but it was very obvious he wouldn't be sticking with CLG. And people have been like, oh, what if he goes mid lane? People just need to get it through their heads. That's not an environment he was going to thrive in. He was not happy there. Moving him to another role is not going to fix anything. If he wants to stay in NA, that's great. If he has an opportunity, good for him. But yeah, he just didn't fit with CLG, and it was pretty obvious to me, at least.
Yeah, what about you, Ram? What did you make of the Seraph experiment? I mean, I think it was ultimately a resounding failure, wasn't it, for both parties?
I mean, the actual experiment itself didn't go so well. CLG went from a team with much potential to get to Worlds to a team potentially dropping in relegation tournament. Losing the first 2 games was a bit of what's the word? A little bit of a shock, actually, for a lot of people that they almost got relegated.
I was going to say clusterfuck was the word.
Yeah, clusterfuck is about right, but I don't think that Seraph played all too bad on CLG towards the end. Like, towards the end, I thought that he was sort of one of their better performing members, and even though, like, it's kind of comparing like the shiniest piece of shit, right, to compare to a bunch of others.
Yeah.
But I guess like what they hoped from Seraph was to have this powerhouse, incredibly dominant top laner that CLG haven't had since Hotshot was a great top laner. And I guess it didn't really work out so well for them. As for the Switch news, I mean, I think everybody saw it coming. We made the call that Dexter and Seraph would be the first 2 to go. Dexter left, Seraph's gone. The LMQ thing is a bit confusing for me because who's going to be the LMQ lineup? Because we don't really know that information. We know that there, or maybe some people do, but I don't. But going to LMQ is a bit of an interesting situation because there's a lot of clouds around that subject. Hopefully he performs better on LMQ. And if that happens, then we'll be able to see if it really was the environment that was holding Seraph back.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a big part of it. Now, I want to chat to you about this, Vander, although I don't know whether it's anything you've given too much thought about. I mean, your team, Roccat, is kind of, or was rather based around, a group of guys that all have the same nationality, common language, common culture, common geography. Now that's kind of, something that may or may not change. Do you think that is something that can hugely influence a player's ability to settle into a team?
I think it depends on the people a lot also, but I know for me at least it doesn't really matter if my teammates are speaking the same language as well, unless we have a language we can communicate in, right? So I would be fine with having someone who's not Polish in the team, but for example, Selaver, who was previously our AD carry, he wouldn't like it from what I know. Firstly, his English is not that well, and secondly, he just prefers staying in lineup with all the Polish guys. And about this LMQ thing, like, is it sure that they're gonna get spot? Because I heard like many different stories, like all those things about the spot and the owner of LMQ team is like solved, and they're gonna get a spot for sure, or in the LCS.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
just to kind of build off what Vander said, LMQ is kind of up in the air right now. Nobody really knows what's going on. There have been multiple stories saying, no, we are staying NA, and then people saying, well, no, they're not. It says they're going back to China. And from what I know, it sounds like if LMQ does stay in NA, the only previous player that's still coming back is Xiao. So you're looking at 4 new players and a potentially huge problem when it comes to language barrier.
Just add to that though, Zhao, from what I know, he was open to offers as well. Yeah,
I heard some information that he was offering himself, not like a prostitute, but like he was potentially looking to join an EU team. if I'm going to name names, I heard that he was trying to get in contact with SK to join that team, though I think they were pretty set on their mid laner.
Yeah.
That's just a small example. So it doesn't seem at this point that anybody is safe on that roster when it comes to LMQ. But speaking of
go on.
spots, speaking of stuff that stuff about spots. What's this we hear about Copenhagen Wolves and their spot?
Well, hang on. One topic at a time.
Come on.
Shit,
Come on.
Holy shit, Ram.
You're not getting to Europe that easy, Ram. No, it doesn't work like that.
There's still so much to talk about with the CLG problem. So
Yeah.
hold your horses there, Tonto. Right. So here's the first thing that I want to sort of bring up. With Seraph being out and possibly going to LMQ, but again that's irrelevant to the topic at hand. This paves the way for ZionSpartan, which again is probably the most predictable transfer we're going to see in this off season. For me, it's definitely an upgrade. You guys are the experts, though, and I'll bring Josh in. I mean, ZionSpartan is one of those top laner kind of carry characters that are going to improve CLG's fortunes, right?
I don't know.
Well, there we go.
Historically, when you look at CLG, they make all these acquisitions and they hype these players up. Like when Link was brought in to be like, oh, he's just fantastic mid laner. He's gonna be a superstar with double lift. It's gonna be great. And of course, there's that Thorin's thoughts video about talking about how Link never really became the carry.
Yeah.
Of course, then he brought in Seraph. He's like this fantastic Korean top laner. He'll be great for CLG. He'll do what they need to. And Nian before that, this fantastic carry player. He's so adaptable. It's like, where are the results? So maybe Zion will be like what they need, but I mean historically it's said otherwise.
I don't think Seraph was okay. Like you're saying that Seraph was like star top laner and he wasn't even playing in and I don't know if he was playing in NLB, but he wasn't playing in OGN. I think one game either in OGN or NLB. I don't remember which. So if they would take someone from Samsung or I don't know, maybe Shy or Flame, then if he would not perform, then you can say, okay, they took a star player from Korea and he failed. But I don't think you can say the same about Seraph.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of mean it more in the sense of just the style that people saw Seraph as when people scouted him.
Oh, wow.
He seemed to be like this big. He played a lot in Italy, for example. And that would be split pushy, carry style, farm focus. Yeah, pre-rework.
I think he got a bit too much hype because of those Synergy videos with Apromo. Like they played the Yasuo Fresh things and they just 2v5'd all the NA solo queue games. So
yeah. I mean, he suffered as well from the whole fact of Korean master race fatigue. I felt in the community that nobody really looked at the fact that, this is the player that we're getting, this is the caliber, this is the experience. People just saw that Monte Cristo, Lord of all things Korean, had brought a Korean to CLG. So everyone was just like, well, fuck it, that's it, man.
Yeah.
We're winning worlds tomorrow. We're done, right?
It's like, why do we even do the LCS split? Just get to the world.
Yeah, exactly.
But adding on to what Josh said a little bit about how CLG picks up these carry players, when you really think about it, CLG kills carries.
Yeah.
If you really think about it, they've pulled in carry players in multiple different roles and it seems that all these players have just regressed during their time on CLG from being very, very respected players in their role to mediocre almost. So I'm a little bit concerned that they're not going to let Zion play his way, where we've seen in the past that the best way for him to succeed is when he does play his way, like the dominant 1v1 laner split pushing top, whereas CLG have traditionally turned these types of players into team fighters, which have always gone back to protect the double lift.
Yeah, sorry, go on,
I mean, think back to when they got Nian Tanso. What did they have him playing? They had him playing Shen and Zac. These were staple meta picks for top laners. They're just these tanky, peel, protects, just be fat pieces of shit so double lift can kill everybody type champions. That's not the style that Zion's really ever thrived in, really, in my opinion. When I was on a team with him, he was very hesitant to play the big three, which were Renekton, Shyvana, Mundo at the time. He was always just looking for carry counters to them. So I mean, it's been almost a year since I played with Zion, and he did play a full split with Dignitas. So maybe he will be able to fit this better. But in my opinion, like he's much better when he doesn't have to protect the double lift.
Well, I think Zion is good. Like I think people like overhype him a bit because he has like a carry playstyle. So if he gets going, he will probably win the game alone. But if he doesn't, then yeah, his team is screwed. But he's definitely a good player, and I think he's an upgrade over Sarah for sure. And I don't think like every player who went to CLG got worse. Like Afromo, for example, he was a good AD player, right? And now he's a support superstar in NA, and he's doing really fine. So there are some guys who can find themselves in the team.
I mean, I think it's going to be interesting to see how it pans out. The first thing that's got to happen, though, is, from my understanding, Riot have had a look into the poaching allegations that he was talked to while under contract with Dignitas by CLG in an improper fashion, again, using that wonderful legal term, tortious interference. And Riot have promised, that they're going to look at it. And I think possibly one of the reasons the announcement has been delayed is that, Riot are maybe going to make some form of decision about it. I think the move will still go ahead. Zion's obviously been spotted at the CLG house, but I think there could be some, potential consequences for the way in which he was acquired, which, might get everything off on the wrong foot. But the most important change, I think, for CLG is going to be that it finally looks like they're ready to drop Link. Which
isn't he trying out for the jungle? Like,
they're not. No, Richard. No.
Richard,
They're
please.
not. No.
I heard they want to use him as a jungler, though.
Yeah,
No. Everyone's heard this, but apparently that's not necessarily the case anymore. They've been strongly linked with other junglers.
Link.
If I would be CLG, I would take Pobelter mid. Like people are saying this too. This is the rumor, and I think he's good mid laner. And I would take someone from Korea to the jungle. Like, if not now, then there won't be a better time to take some good Korean player to your team, right? And the one thing they can be like hesitant is because of the Seraph. Like, they took him and he didn't work out. But I think they should take someone like one of the best Korean junglers, and I'm sure, at least I think they will benefit from this.
Let me tell you what's going around on Rumor Street, okay? So a lot of people have been talking about Helios. I'm not really feeling that at all. I'm not buying that. But again, people are putting the jungle drums out there. Apparently, there's been talks. I think people are mainly arriving at that conclusion because of CLG and EG being under the Good Game agency umbrella. But I'm not really feeling that at all. Certainly, the rumor that's going around among journalists is Spirit.
That would be a good pickup.
Coming over.
Spirit to CLG would be huge.
Yeah.
Well, apparently he was in talks with one prominent European team who really wanted him, and he turned them down, saying he thinks that he'd prefer the NA lifestyle and that he had options in NA. And people are speculating that one of those options is CLG. Now, this means if CLG are indeed looking at junglers, and we all know that there's a very strong rumor about Pobelter mid, this means Link's going back to either, the bench, or they're going to create a team specifically for him. But certainly it looks like he's not going to be troubling the first team anytime soon. So, they gave him 3 splits, in my opinion, and this is what I really wanted to talk about. In my opinion, he's not gonna get there.
A team of his own, Richard.
All right,
we're gonna start maybe a Hearthstone team of his own.
All right, so
you made me spit water on my glasses, Josh.
So where do we start? Should I start with Spirit to CLG? And
it's pure speculation.
All right, if we're talking from an analytical standpoint, I thought that Spirit was, for a while, one of the best junglers in the world. Easily top 3 if we're really thinking about it. But if we think about the playstyle that he did for Samsung Blue, which was not as much early pressure but focused around the late game, would that playstyle work well with CLG? Is what I'm trying to wonder. Like, Nintendo, you scrim against CLG, or you've played against them more times than I have. Do you think that, we all agree that Spirit is a world-class jungle, But would he actually make CLG a top tier team with that playstyle of Samsung Blue?
Dude, I haven't scrimmed against CLG in like 8 months. We were supposed to scrim them today, but I think that fell through. So maybe we'll scrim them this week. But the question at hand, would Spirit make them top team? I mean, I think yeah. I think he's a fantastic jungler. He's adaptable. I think sometimes people look a little too hard into like if a team would really be good with another like fantastic player, like no, it just wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. I think he'd get to do what he wanted with CLG, whether it be like if he wanted to gank a lot, he wanted to do. He's not gonna like. He's clearly a world class jungler. He's gonna do what he wants. That's the reason you're bringing him onto the team. So yeah, I think he would be a great improvement. I just don't see. I just personally don't see Spirit realistically joining CLG. Maybe I'm crazy.
So who would they take? Because we both know that the NA jungler pool is very limited when it comes to talent at the moment. Like no one is like if you think about it, they had Dexter.
Okay. I'll tell you what I've heard. I've heard that they're trying out junglers and putting Link mid, and they're trying out Link jungle and trying out mid laners. And I think one of the most interesting things I heard was the whole Pobelter mid. Apparently he's tried out with them, or he's been spotted in a tryout. I don't know, but Pobelter mid, Link jungle was one thing I've heard. I don't think I've heard of any scenario where they go with Pobelter mid and get a foreign jungler. Maybe obviously you'd have to bring him over to try him out, and that hasn't been done yet. I don't know if that's a possibility or not, but from what I've heard, Link is gonna be playing mid or jungle on whatever iteration they do. They're just looking for like what the best possible fit is, whether it is keeping Link mid and finding like, is there a good jungler in NA? Like, okay, maybe we'll take a look. We might as well, or maybe they'll just like go with Pobelter.
But don't you think they might be looking at it the wrong way by working so hard to keep Link when I really think that they could be more successful taking like completely new players in each of these roles?
Absolutely, I don't think that. I think they have a very. I don't think they're seeing both sides of the coin really. They have a very biased opinion. Like, okay, Link's so good, let's keep him involved. You know, he can mid and he can jungle. He's so versatile.
So here's my question though, right? This is open to all of you, because if anyone can answer this, please. Right, we all know how fucking ruthless League of Legends is. Like, it's success today. If you suck, I mean, these days players are getting like a few weeks to get their shit together. And if you don't get your shit together, get fucked. Bye. See you. You know, we don't even care. You know, we've got one split. People are thinking in splits. It's short-term thinking. Everyone's looking for the quick fix. So with that in mind, why is CLG so fucking reluctant to kick this player who is obviously below par, even to the point where they're trying to fit him into a position possibly at the expense of a truly world-class Korean player? What the fuck is going on?
The only thing that I can really think of is that the whole CLG mindset and putting people on this fucking pedestal. It's like, oh my god, the great Chowster, what do you want? Like type deal with that they're doing with Link, really. Because when we've talked about this before, I think, when they brought him onto the team in Season 3, Link was this challenger scene god. I mean, there wasn't a challenger scene back then, but on col.Black, he was a freaking monster. And he'd be such a big upgrade to GG. It was talked about all the time, and it was talked about in the Thorin's Thoughts vlog.
Yeah.
He's just put on this pedestal, and he's, if we think of, hasn't he subbed for, I remember him subbing for other roles when they've needed him to for an MLG. I'm talking about, didn't he play like top in an MLG because Chowster couldn't make it or something?
I think that was Boy that because someone couldn't make it or something. I don't know if it was
No. This was definitely in the LCS season where maybe it was GG. It was somebody couldn't make one of the days, and he filled, and they... Who did they use?
No. I definitely remember him playing like something like Elise top. It definitely
Yeah. And so he's like this versatile player, so they see him as this. He's put on this pedestal, and like he's that good. In reality, is he? I don't know. Maybe he is. We don't know. We aren't involved in the inner workings of CLG. Maybe they're not being ridiculous with doing this. But from history tells me about CLG is that they get in this mindset of these players and it sticks.
Well, what I heard is Dexter was saying that Afromu, Doublelift, and Link are like super good friends, and they just want to stick together. That might be possibility why they want to keep him. Maybe when the players believe in this guy, then maybe I don't know, it has some future in it. But for me, I like just an observer, because like you can never know what's going in the team, like whose fault is who is doing actually bad. Because like communication and all these things can influence performance of a player. But from what we can see from the outside is that Link was maybe not like a bad player, but he was not like top. Like Dignitas had better mid laner, EG, LMQ, TSM. So if CLG doesn't want to be like outside of the top 3, then I don't know, they should switch him from mid at least. And I don't know if he would fit as a jungler. Maybe he's some secret jungle star. I don't know.
Yeah, and a point that's been made to me on Twitter, interestingly, which is something I didn't think about, and this is from Logan Siverson. He said Skara is a huge fan of Link, and they think that Skara being a coach there might mean that he's willing to give him a shot, even if it's in an unfamiliar position.
You know, maybe the 5th split is the charm. I mean, I don't think Link has been consistently bad. He's had some moments of absolute pure genius. Like if people remember that one big LeBlanc play that he made on Voyboy that just completely won CLG the game. He's had a couple of those. The problem is that he's just not been consistently keeping up. Like I wouldn't mind if Link never made those huge, massive fucking jizz in my pants massive plays if he just performed at an above average level on a consistent basis.
Yeah, but
maybe
that's been the key with him, though. And it's like we're not even talking about consistency with him. We're talking about someone who has delivered like maybe 1 or 2 like truly excellent games, like match-winning performances. But the rest of the time, the spectrum ranges from appallingly bad to okay. You know?
Yeah, that's kind of it.
That's the reality.
He needs to consistently perform at a higher level.
I don't remember ever thinking Link has had appallingly bad games. I mean, if anything, he's just been like consistently meh. Like, has he really had appalling performances? Like, I don't know.
I don't remember. He's like, okay, he did this LeBlanc play, but it was against Voyboy, who just switched to the mid lane. I think it was the beginning of the split when he joined the mid lane, and it was like more of his mistake from what I remember. And Link used it. So, and I don't watch every NILCS game, I have to admit, but from what I've seen, I was like, when CLG was playing, I always tried to watch, because I like them even from the old times, the Hotshot and crew. So, I'm like, you can say I'm a bit of their fan.
Yeah.
So, I think Link was not... it's not a player that can be in a top level team.
So just quickly before we move on from CLG, we'll bring the Pobelter question.
Sorry, just to interrupt. If you want an appalling performance, think Link's first 2 games in the relegation tournament when he played RA. There's appalling. That was bloody fucking awful.
All right.
So he's
I was going to say, I mean, like one of the reasons why CLG really struggled in the relegations was Link in particular, but
I want to thank Twitch chat for that, because
but it is true, and I'm sure that we could pick out other examples, but you know that's another key point. When things are at their most desperate and you need your allegedly big players to step up, actually Link's always been found wanting, and you know hasn't been one of those players.
It was Doublelift and Seraph who definitely stepped up in the last 3 games.
Yeah,
like I would say Afromu, but he actually played well across all 5 games. Even in the games that they were losing, but it really wasn't Link that did anything special.
So the Pobelter question, again, I think this is, I mean, it's a move that has real potential to come off, because we all know now that CLG are under this good game agency umbrella, so obviously communication between the teams can be kept in-house without any accusations of any improper conduct. You know, I think Pobelter's a good player. I think when EG went on their run towards the end of the season, to step things up, and they had that great 4-0 Super Week. He was a real standout player. So him going to CLG could be a good move. I mean, do we think it's likely?
I hope
Pobelter to
so.
CLG. I mean, Vander hopes so, but I've heard some people say that they aren't looking forward to it if it does happen. Namely,
Why is that?
Thorin.
If
Thorin.
if Krepo left the team already, so maybe they will break apart. I don't know. Like they have still good lineup. Like Altec is good. I heard
Yes, it's okay.
they're gonna have a new top lane, but I don't know if it's true. And I think Helios is also a good jungler. Like I think he had some mixed games. Like he played really good or really bad, but overall I would say he's one of the best in NA right now. So he's still he doesn't have to leave EG. It's not like they are a bad team.
I did thing I can't put my mind around before I think about Pobelter to CLG is what the hell is EG doing? Didn't they state a couple weeks ago that they were going to create a boot camp before LCS split?
Well,
And now Krepo's in Europe, possibly joining Alliance. Fucking who knows what Inox is doing? Supposedly he's getting benched. Pobelter's going to CLG. Like, what is going on with this team?
I don't know if you remembered on our first show, we did talk about there was a real rumor that EG might be kind of disbanding. And they maybe have to sort of give their slot away.
EG
it was a rumor at the time, but maybe all of these things, maybe if we look at the dismantling of the side, and you're absolutely right. I mean, the Krepo to Alliance rumors are at critical mass at the moment.
I mean, if that's true, then the Helios and Pobelter to CLG thing isn't all that far fetched. Pobelter and Helios do have good synergy. That would be pretty good pickup for CLG if that did happen. But I mean, I just can't get my head around what's going on with EG. I thought they were going to go boot camp in Korea soon. What's going on?
I think it all stemmed from Krepo leaving. It seemed a bit blindsided for a lot of people. Like, I definitely didn't see it coming. But when you really think about it, EG looked super good towards the end of the LCS split and in the relegation tournament. And the only thing that people could point out was the fault of EG was Inox. And Inox wasn't terrible, but it was obvious that he wasn't going to get EG past maybe the top 4 spot. Or now I guess top 5 in the middle. So all EG realistically had to do was get a more dominant top laner and they could easily contend for a top 4 spot. And then Krepo left. Krepo, who, everybody kind of knows that while mechanically he might not be the best player, he does have good mechanics. His game knowledge and experience and warding and the classic Krepo Baron bait does win EG and the teams that he plays on a lot of games. Having someone that influential in the team leave kind of throws everything into a rut. You got 2.5 great players. I would say Inox is okay, whereas Altec and Pobelter are great. And then now you've got 2 spots to fill and no one really to fill them with. There's no real clear direction to go. So it would definitely make more sense. The comfortable decision for Pobelter is to take a non-risky approach and join CLG, who kind of have an established roster in a way. ZionSpartan is a good player. Doublelift, Aframu are great together, and I guess Link in the jungle might not be terrible. It seems like a very comfortable decision. It seems like the risk-free decision, which is kind of weird to say, that Pobelter would join CLG. It seems that EG right now it doesn't seem like they have a very good direction of what they want to do or what they're going to do. The future doesn't look very bright for them.
I don't know. I think the Link jungle may not be a good thing for Pobelter if he would move to CLG. If I would be Pobelter, I would probably stay in EG and try to get some good top laner.
Yeah. I mean, the word as well is though.
Wait. They don't have Krepo now, so that's also an issue. As you said, I forgot about it for a second. Krepo, I think he's he's good support for sure. I respect him as a player, so that's definitely a loss for EG. And I don't think they can take anyone from NA who's better than him. From Europe, I don't think so either. Unless Reckless leaves and they take Yellowstar, I don't know. I don't think it's possible anyways. So it's hard for me to think who EG can take for this support spot. And if Pobelter leaves, who are they gonna take for mid?
I mean, I got to say, like, Krepo really stepped it up towards the end of the season. I thought he was a bit lackluster, actually, this split. But he was making some huge plays. I don't know if it was really the introduction of Alltech, in that bottom lane, like when they started getting that kind of synergy and working really well together. That bot lane was actually scary.
Oh, Altec was great.
Yeah, like he was sick. Like, what a find. And I think it's almost a shame in a way that if this EG team does kind of get cast to the fucking 4 wins, that he might be actually without a team or without a stable environment for his talent to flourish, because that would be a goddamn tragedy. But I mean, the Krepo to Alliance thing, I guess we can move on and talk a little bit about that. We had his teammate on the show last week, potential teammate, I should say, on the show last week, and he was dropping hints that Krepo would be involved in Alliance in some shape or form. He kept talking about his singing voice somewhat cryptically. We kind of thought it might be as a coach, but it sounds now, what people are saying behind the scenes, that he's going to be a player and a replacement for Nyph. So how do we feel about that? Is that an upgrade, or?
Almost any LCS support would be an upgrade over Nyph.
Well, that's how I feel, but Wicked and a few other people said I was talking shit.
Thorin wouldn't agree with you, I guess. He likes Nyph. But I think, like, I don't know, it seems like Nyph can have some good games, but the more important the game is, the Nyph is playing worse. It seems like on Worlds he played really bad, let's be honest, and he was one of the main reasons, like, Alliance didn't come out of the group. Like, I think in this game against Kaboom, like, everyone from them had some mistakes. So it's not only Nyph's fault, but yeah, definitely, like, taking Krepo would be an upgrade over Nyph. I heard, like, Nyph's communication is not top-notch also. He's not, like, leading them. He's not that voice in the team. So yeah, I would take Krepo probably. And I don't know what about Reckless also. Like, they don't have AD carry now.
Yeah.
Well, we kind of know that it won't be Alliance tabs now. I mean, I feel that bridge has been burnt in a way.
Well, I mean,
I
don't get how you can say, I wasn't having a good time in the team. They're no fun to be with, and then it's like, but I'm going to resign because I'm having such a good time. Like, you can't. There's no backtrack, and like it's like Wicked sat here and said, I think we're pretty fun guys, actually.
They are. We all know that they're fun guys. Like,
yeah, so I don't know. Like,
I actually wanted to get the video of Froggen singing the karaoke for this episode, but I wasn't able to get it in time. I'm sorry, but there is video evidence. I've confirmed it. Froggen is singing Electric Avenue. I've seen the video.
I think, like, regarding tabs, he's like, I like him. He's a nice guy, but he's like, let's say, I don't know, he's not like a typical guy for me. He's like more emotional, and he's like more feeling guy, something like this. So that's why maybe he didn't get along with the Alliance team.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel like Wicked is cool in my opinion. Froggen, I don't talk much with Froggen, but he seems cool also. So I don't know what would be an issue there, right?
I think we're all becoming modern men, Oscar. I think that's what it is. We're getting in touch with our feelings. It's okay to cry. It's all good.
Everyone cries sometimes.
Yeah,
and you could see it on the World Championships.
When's the last time you had a good cry, Vander? When's the last time you just sat down in your chair and just cried it all away?
You saw Reckless cry, right?
It makes people cry all the time. I think he knows how useful it is.
I was going to say, I know Josh has had a good cry for the most part of his career, actually, the way it's going to work out for him. But I'm just kidding. kidding. But yeah, so I don't know. It's like I say, personality. It's really weird. We talked about team synergy. I think there's no way that Tabs can say all those things and go back. You can't do it. And the Alliance guys seem to be a bit more robust. They like to party. When I was over in Germany for the last event I went to, I saw Krepo and Wicked drinking together, which was super awkward because Krepo was ignoring me, but Wicked was talking to me. So it was like
Well, they're
it was like
they're
an
like
episode of Cheaters where the where
they're
the woman turns up.
they're longtime friends, you know, like they played
Yeah.
together for a long time. And when Krepo was in Europe, it was after the IEM Katowice. He was like, yeah, you could see that they are still friends. Krepo and the Alliance members were in EG. And like regarding to the Krepo, like for me, it's like 99% that he's gonna join Alliance. He's like duo queuing with Rogan. If not with Rogan, he's duo queuing with Reckless. Before, Reckless was duo queuing with Nyph all the time, and suddenly he dropped him and started duo queuing with Krepo. And if I heard that there are some problems regarding the Reckless buyout to Alliance, and I think if they won't take Reckless, there are like Nils or Forgiven still open for them.
But I mean, so who would be the best AD carry to play alongside Krepo?
Reckless.
Let's say Krepo happens. Let's say Neff's gone. You know, there's an interesting thing that's going on here at the moment, and this is all relating to the Reckless deal, and that is that maybe Fnatic are disputing the buyout, and they're trying to say that perhaps that isn't necessarily valid. Reckless is really looking at his options hard and definitely wants out the team, but Alliance aren't going to pay over the odds. You know, in an ideal world, I think the move would already be done amicably, but I think Fnatic are going to try and fight for their man and hold on to the player. So let's say Reckless can't go. Let's say he's locked in at the golden handcuffs of Fnatic. Who then can Alliance realistically get to replace Tabs that's going to keep them on the same level that they were in the previous season?
If we're talking strictly from the
All-Tech.
If we're talking strictly from the EU Challenger, there's only like really two realistic options.
Forgiven and Niels.
Forgiven if he hasn't signed for SK, and Niels HD, Svenelin, the guy who kind of holds two top 15 Challenger accounts.
There's always a problem with those Challenger players. Like, you never know how they're gonna work out in the tournament. Let's say, like Amin and col, they were so hyped up. They were like winning every solo queue game alone, and still, I don't think they perform too good when they had a chance on the LCS qualifications. So regarding the Niels, if I would be Alliance, I would just play some games with Niels. If they like see that Reckless is moving away from them, and the Fnatic won't let him go, just play some games with Niels against teams like top teams they can scream currently, because I guess like not every team has a roster. Many teams are didn't start practicing yet, so just play some games with this guy. If he works out, if he's like a good fit, then they can keep him, and if not, they can go for some safer option like Forgiven or maybe trying Altec from NIS Nintendudex.
What about Fury?
I think he's also like he's better than average solo queue challenger AD carry, but I don't think he's like. I think Niels is better than him, so I would test out this guy first.
Okay. Yeah, because I know that there was some discussion about Fury.
He's not bad by any means, but I think if you want to be like Alliance was the first seed, right? So they want best players, and I don't think Fury would fit such a team yet, at least.
I mean, I don't know, dudes. I think, you know, it was interesting. So I was talking to Forgiven just the other day as I try and make reparations for the fact that I said some of his former teammates mentioned the, you know, his showering thing, which he said absolutely isn't true, and some of his other teammates who he lived with said it isn't true, and Forgiven says it's actually just a you know, kind of a mean-spirited thing that people are saying about him since he's left the team. But he said he's already got his team sorted.
I heard it's SK.
Yeah, and we all think it's SK, but I don't know if Alliance came in and said, you know what, like, we're willing to take a gamble on you. Whether he'd revise his pick, or I don't know if he's locked in. I don't know if the contracts have been signed. But I mean, I like the idea of SK Forgiven, frankly. I think that's a good fit.
I think SK would become a strong team like Freddy. If Freddy won't leave for some other options, because I believe he got some good offers also after the Worlds.
The hype train is real for Freddy.
Oh yeah. He's definitely.
And what about Forgiven? I think like this CW thing, like he was really super good player in the spring split, and they let him go. So it means that there were some issues with him. I heard many bad stories about him, but you can't believe only to the one side, right? Like Brokenshard always says, there are three part of the story. So definitely there were some issues with Forgiven, but you can just force him to shower, I guess.
I've actually found out there's 4 fingers to the story. There's one side, the other side, the truth, and then whatever Richard says.
and we all know whatever I say is the fucking gospel, right? So it's beyond the truth, the word of the esports journalist god, man.
You haven't been wrong so far, so
yeah, I know.
I guess you are the 4th finger.
Although I was told by a bunch of reliable people about the Dandy and Invictus Gaming thing, which he's come out and denied, so that could be the first black mark against my name, which it came from reliable sources that have a 100% record in the past. But fuck it, got to be wrong sometime. Got to be wrong sometime. That's it. Yeah, I'll just
you're off the show. You are off the show.
New host.
Done with you.
Oh, there's actually a dude on Reddit who posts, this show would be great if Thorin hosted it every week. He posts the same thing on Reddit. I think he's called Morph UK or something. Maybe that's what we should do. We should all lobby for Thorin to take.
If Thorin hosted this show, it would be theoretically, if this show was attacked by aliens, who would you pick to be your roster against?
Let me give you an example, Ram. If this were to happen.
If this were to happen, why is Nintendude still shit at the game?
There's this guy, right? Bob Barker. He no longer hosts The Price is Right.
So Niels says
I actually think that Niels will be on an LCS team this split. He's too hyped up.
I think so too.
Not be. He's really good.
I wonder if I heard Gambit also is interested in him, but I don't know. I think Chrisland played pretty good. And
they signed Chrisland.
Chrisland is signed. He signed his contract.
They've officially signed Chrisland and Klobuchar apparently recently.
Yeah, they signed Klobuchar. I don't know if he's a big improvement over Kuban though. I think Kuban was playing pretty fine.
Yeah, I think Kuban was doing okay. I don't see what Klobuchar's going to bring that he didn't. I agree with you there, Vander. But just to moving on to Niels, because as Ram rightly points out, there's a lot of hype with this player. So he's recently had trials with Gambit. They were having a good look at him. Doesn't look like that's going to go ahead, and they're going to go with Chrisland instead. Now Niels is kind of out there. There's a talk that he's playing with a team that's based around Dexter at the moment, and Dexter might be creating his own team, and they're being strongly linked with Copenhagen Wolves at the moment because Copenhagen. Yeah, there's a huge
we need to
story
talk about what's going on with Copenhagen.
Yeah, so come on, Ram. You obviously know the organization and the players and everything else. So you give us the insight. You give us the skinny on what's happening there.
Fact, Copenhagen Wolves roster, the players were looking to separate themselves from the organization before the end of the split. That's fact. Fact, they did try. It didn't work. Copenhagen Wolves.
Why didn't it work, Ram?
I don't know why it didn't work. I just know that they were trying really hard to get the spot from CW.
Yes, they didn't like the org.
They didn't like the organization. Now, they were trying to separate themselves from the spot, but they weren't able to. So, as per the what's it called? The Riot rules that the org owns the spot. Copenhagen Wolves, the organization, keep their spot, and the players Soren, Youngbuck, Airwax, and Unlimited are out. So they're no longer represented with Copenhagen Wolves. Now,
and that's why they're doing ladder 5s under the name.
That's why they're playing
Rejects, right?
And I've been watching them play.
Who is the AD for them then?
It's Freeze. Freeze is playing with the 4 other Copenhagen Wolves member under Unlucky Rejects. He's the one playing. It's Freeze. So, so Copenhagen Wolves, the organization, retained their spot, and we all have heard rumors that Dexter has been forming his team. Do you mind if I just say the roster that's been speculated so far? So what I know so far, it's Dexter, Kerp, and Niels, and Voidal. I don't know who the top laner is, but those are the four
Why
that
not
I've heard.
Tabs?
I don't know if he's ever talked to Tabs. I just know that there's a link between Niels and Dexter right now. There's a huge link.
Where is news from?
Niels is from Denmark.
Oh.
So I heard that there's a lot of rumors speculating that Dexter is building this team for Copenhagen Wolves so that he can have the spot for the LCS. And that's kind of what seems to be the most likely source that Niels would join CW.
I think it's very possible as well.
I had a nice virtual cup of tea with Jacob, the founder of Copenhagen Wolves, just the other day. And he said, I mean, I would expect him to say this to a journalist. He's not an idiot by any means, but he said nothing's been decided, and actually the option to re-sign the players is there. But I'm with you. I don't see why the players would be out there calling themselves unlucky rejects if in reality
just
they
gonna
hadn't
stop you
been
for 1
rejected.
second. Dexter was in NA to do playtest for Riot. He's coming back to Europe.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah.
All the people who
No,
were
no, no,
thinking Dexter
but-
was
Yeah.
a CLG. You're
People,
way fucking off,
people
guys.
seem to think that the EU players going to NA is some magical like new cross-continental thing, but he's there for the playtest and he will be back in Europe.
Yeah.
This is most likely what's going to happen. I don't think Dexter is going back to NA.
No, he will stay in Europe, I think.
Yeah. So I mean, it's interesting. I think
Maybe SHC if not.
I heard
CW.
that SHC are making an amazing pickup though.
Yeah, I heard that too.
So
I heard that it's going to be an amazing roster change.
We'll wrap up the Copenhagen Wolves talk. So I mean, what do you think about the decision to kind of cut that roster loose potentially if it happens? Do you think the Dexter team is a step up?
Yes.
You do? Okay,
Yes.
well, tell me why.
I think that the Dexter team can be a huge step up. I just feel that the players that he's picked so far, besides Voidal, are all super good players who could easily make waves in the LCS. It really does depend if they're going to get a better support than Voidal and a good top laner, but I do think that they have a good chance to be a lot better than the current Copenhagen Wolves lineup in the LCS.
Yeah, I agree. These three players are really good, and I wonder who they're gonna pick for the support and top lane. Also, like I don't know who's maybe Kubon. I don't know who's like open good player on the top lane. Oduamne if
Oduamne is pretty
H2K
good.
doesn't get to LCS.
Oh, there's a lot about H2K going on right now as well.
Yeah.
Some messy.
All right, we'll come to that in a second.
Something with the roster.
But I also heard this. Okay, so I'm also hearing this like right now.
Right.
Kerp top lane, not mid.
Is that where he started?
Oh.
This top
He
lane?
did start in the top lane.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And I'm
Oh,
also
that's only
hearing,
possible.
so we're also talking about H2K.
Hang on, no,
AOD
whoa. Before we move on to
no,
H2K,
but this is big,
I
this
feel
is
like
big.
yeah,
It
I
links.
know it's big, but we're gonna
No,
go
but it
away.
links, dude. It
Okay,
links.
but I just want
Alright.
to bring Josh in. I just want to bring Josh in. I'll tell
Alright,
you why.
alright.
This is the obligatory part of the show where he gets to say he doesn't follow Europe and he thinks it's a trash region. Then we can go on to H2K.
Oh my god, come
Josh.
on.
What are your thoughts about Copenhagen Wolves? New team, old team?
Well, Richard, I don't really pay attention to Europe. I try my best, but, just tends to not happen. I think Ram's just salty that Copenhagen Wolves broke up with him. Now he does anything in his power to shit-talk him. Oh, they're going to get 3 out at relegation. Oh, Dexter's team's going to be so much better. They're still going to be fine. I don't know. I don't think Copenhagen Wolves' current lineup, or the unlucky rejects, whatever the hell they are now, are that bad. And Dexter's team is still unfinished. And if they are this new super team or whatever, I don't think they're going to be immediately better, but eventually maybe. I think Rams is salty.
Fuck you.
Right. Okay. Now we
not.
can do.
Okay, I'm
now we can do
salty about it.
H2K.
No. I'm just gonna defend myself
Okay.
here. Airwax is a much better jungler than me. I wasn't upset that they took him
He's
over.
better mechanically, but I don't know if he's a better shot caller than you.
No, he's much better mechanically than me. Like ridiculously much better mechanically. Who cares about shot
I
caller?
agree.
They didn't need a shot caller by the way that they played the relegations. They shat on H2K without anyone really being a superb shot caller. He was way better on that team than I was. I agreed when they told me that I was replaced. I said, yeah, I think
Yeah, but
Airwax is
wasn't
going
his
to be better.
attitude crazy?
not really crazy. It wasn't even that bad from what I heard. It was more that he got a bit salty after scrims and didn't want to do like team talk.
Analysis. Yeah, I
That's
heard
what I heard. That he just got a
didn't
bit
cooperate
emo.
with other guys.
Yeah,
But
but
yeah,
that's it.
I heard some crazy stories about CW. It's like end of the season, they're like fighting to get the 7th spot, and Airwax is in the team, and he's like, before the game, he's like, guys, today I'm gonna shot call in this game, and he's just trying to shot call, and
Well,
they
they
didn't.
brought me on. They brought me on to get that 7th spot. It's basically just that.
Yeah,
That's
so
Eh,
work out, but
well, I don't know how CW worked, but Kerp top would be like I would be happy to see him back top. Like he was good mid lane, but I don't know. I would like to see how he will adapt to top lane again.
but it's more so that I think that I also heard that there was some issues with H2K, and I heard that since AOD left the team or got kicked or whatever, it's Zaitan now playing support for them. I also heard that
So him duo queuing with Hiernan.
yeah, I also heard that Febiven might be getting offers from LCS teams, and I would not be surprised if CW have offered Febiven this spot. Because if we're talking,
He has
if we're
like,
talking like the creme de crêpe of the EU Challenger mids, Febiven would be at the top of that list.
he has 2 accounts in top 5, I think, right?
He has 2 accounts in top 10 and another one in the top 20.
Yeah.
He has 3 accounts in High Challenger. So the
But
guy
I
is
don't know,
high.
he didn't perform that well. Also in the
Yeah.
LCS qualifiers, like on the internet, he's playing great, but on the LAN, it seems like he's not doing so well.
I just wanna ask this right now. I know Febiven follows me on Twitter and he does watch the show. So I guess I'll apologize in advance, but you know, fuck it, we're all adults. Now I've heard this motherfucker's a ticking time bomb. Like when we did, one of my colleagues at the Daily Dot did a story. We got told that, you know, after they lost, he stormed out of the team and said, I can't play with you guys anymore. We saw evidence to that fact. So we ran the story. And then by the morning, they kissed and made up, you know, and everyone was like, oh, you got it wrong, Daily Dot, you sensationalist pieces of shit. It's like, if you'd seen what we'd seen, you would have thought there was no way back. So there's that. And then, you know, he seems to be the kind of guy that can go on tilt in games, you know. I don't know. I mean, I've got no doubt about his talent, but we all know that attitude and mindset are a big part of this game.
I think his mindset is like terrible. From seeing him playing just solo queue, it's like once he was playing Twisted Fate, and there was like a big team fight. He didn't come, and you know, like TF has ultimate, so he can join whenever, and that's what I thought he will do before the team fight started. And then I just asked him, "Where are you, TF?" And he started trolling, and he was like attacking me that I'm flaming him. So I didn't like what. It was like maybe not the best question, right? It was a bit like with bad intentions from me, but it's not like flaming him or something. And he just went completely on tilt. And I heard he's doing this sometimes in scrims and in some more important matches too. So that's definitely not how a player should behave.
No, I will agree that there have been a lot of accusations towards Febiven being the tilt lord of EU West, and it's kind of shown in his relegation history. He's gone 0-6, which is kind of bad. But I think that Dexter is a very, well, I don't know. I guess that mindset might be a bit of a problem on that team because you're bringing in a new challenger AD carry, Niels, and then a challenger mid laner. And I guess it might not be to say, but I think Dexter, under the right circumstances, can have a good attitude. I don't know if Dexter can be that voice of reason, like mature voice of reason. Because I don't think Krepo can do that, but maybe Dexter can.
I'll tell you what. After the experiences Dexter had out in CLG, I reckon that guy's going to be like a fucking Zen master now. I don't think anything. Yeah, I don't think anything's going to phase him because you know he has even had the class. Like since he got back, he won't talk about what happened out there. You know, as far as he's concerned, what went on in America stays there. You know, many people have hit him up and been like, do you want to do interviews about your time in CLG? He won't do it. He won't crack. He will not say anything bad. But sometimes silence speaks louder you know. And I think after that experience, I think he's just going to relish being back in a team environment where he's got a degree of control and he can kind of pick what characters are around him. So I think he'll flourish. And if anyone can bring tilters and rages in check, it'll be, you know, my man Marcel.
You think he could tame the beast that is Febiven?
Well, I think like Febiven,
so.
he can improve, especially in the team in which he would respect all the players.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Besides him, because let's be honest, in H2K he's the biggest star. Everyone is saying that their bot lane is weak, their jungler is weak. Only the top lane is also on par with Febiven, and I have to admit that Febiven is super good player. Like he's definitely with Nukeduck and Wizix, top 3 mid laners who are not in LCS. And he improved his behavior a lot. First I met him like, I don't know, 1 year ago, I think. He was only playing Riven and Zed in solo queue.
Yeah.
And he was much worse than now. Like, really, it was a pain to play with him. And I talked a lot with him, like on the chat, and I was trying also to explain him that there's just no reason to behave like this. And I think he improved his behavior a lot, so maybe he can continue doing it and he can grow up.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, man, I like that about you, man. You sound like a real professional and calm guy. I didn't know what to. No, but I didn't know what to expect. You know,
Vander, I need you to shit talk someone. This is why we brought you on.
Yeah, we kind of like to throw a bit of trash talk around, but it's okay. We've still got another hour. I think what we'll do is we'll cut to a break here. I think it's a good time to do so. But we got lots to talk about when we get back. Topics are going to include the great complexity split. You know, the two teams, and you know, kind of the return of Prolly, which is like super interesting. That's why we wanted to get him on the show. We've also got
the fist fight.
Yeah, we're going to talk about League of Legends fist fights. We're going to link that tangentially to what happened at ESWC, where a female CSGO team and a rival female CSGO player stroke coach basically kind of sparked a brawl after an ESWC qualifier. And apparently there's been a few bit of fisticuffs in League of Legends, so that's gonna be our general topic of discussion. I think we'll talk as well about the you know, unicorns of love going to IEM and just about IEM in general. But what we really want to focus on when we get back is obviously the NA expansion bracket's been released, and we'll take.
Somebody say NA.
Yeah, here we go. He's back.
And then
hey, I'm back.
So yeah, we'll get Josh to give some insight about that. And he can explain to us how Team Fusion are going to crash out. Anyway, we'll be right back after the break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be about 5 minutes. Hi, and welcome back to First Blood. We've just had our break, and I'm not going to say which one of us ate a massive bagel with an egg in it. We'll let you take the guess about which one it was.
Everyone's gonna say me, man. The fuck?
But what if it's a red herring? But anyway, we're back, and we are with Vander is our special guest, and of course the two co-hosts, Brokenshard and Nintendudex. Lots to talk about in the second half. We're going to move away from roster talk in just a little bit. I guess first of all, we didn't really talk about the amazing to super hot crew thing, or rather not super hot crew anymore, possibly MYM, but that's neither here nor there. It looked like they were going to double down on Amin, and then, well, I say Amin because it's like Idi Amin, the Ugandan dictator.
It's so funny how he wanted to change his name because every time people would Google Amin, they would get that first.
Yeah, well, I don't want to break it to him, but Idi Amin did have a slightly bigger impact on the world and modern culture, just a bit more than him.
Just don't say that to him to his face. He'll think you're
No,
right.
I wouldn't, because he'd probably beat me up or something, and that'd be super embarrassing because I'm probably like twice his age. But anyway, it looked like they were going to double down on him as the jungler. They made a big deal about it. It was like really cool. He fought off challenges from other junglers, including Horo, who's now at Millennium. And then there was this tweet, however many days ago it was, where he said, I don't really want to play anymore. I just want to focus on studies and girls and all of that stuff. And it looks like they're going to bring in Amazing instead. So tell us about this, Brokenshard, because I'm really surprised. I thought this was Amin's time to shine, so to speak.
Amin, this isn't the first time Amin has kind of shied away from the pro spotlight before. He did it once before with NIP, where he played super well up till the final and didn't actually play the final because he got sick or whatever. And they ended up playing with Shaker, who, so this isn't the
He
first
didn't
time
have
that
the best games.
No, he was very unfortunate.
Yeah, but he didn't play, I think, for... Yeah,
Regardless,
just go on.
regardless. But I think Amin knows better than anyone else that if he was ready for LCS, because I know that he had talked to me about it. It's like, man, like this is gonna be huge, like LCS, but I don't know if I'm ready for it. Like if he's ready for all the pressure, because he's still a young kid, and he seems to be one of the first few people who's really thinking about the drawbacks of going into LCS by having the huge spotlight over you, having to move away from his house, move away from a very comfortable lifestyle that he has right now. And he's really thinking about that. What if it doesn't go well, and if he's going to be able to deal with the pressure? And he kind of came up with the conclusion for himself that no, I'm not going to be able to deal with the pressure. So I don't think LCS is in the stars for me right now. But he's an insanely talented player, and I only think he's going to get better. He's like almost 1,000 points challenger right now. So if he doesn't join LCS right now, he might do it in the next split or the split after. But right now, he seems content with, as he stated, going to school, talking to girls, and just being a kid, which is totally fine.
I think the life of LCS player is not for everyone. It has its pros, it has its cons, and he talked to many of the pro players, and they told him what they think about all of it, and I guess he made a decision to not go into LCS. But I think if he would like to be eventually in LCS sometime, I think he should go now, because it's the best time for him. He's still young, he still can get some experience, maybe in some weaker team, and then go to some huge team. Because like expansion, 2 new teams are coming in, like many roster swaps, many chaos things are going now on the scene. So I think it's the best time for newcomers to join LCS now.
Yeah, I agree with you, Oscar. I gotta say, I mean, I think he's just turned 17. He's at the requisite age. I mean, that's young, like you say. And it feels that this is kind of like almost the peak time. Interest in esports is at an all-time high. Interest in league is at an all-time high. There's lots of opportunities, both in terms of teams and competition, but also financially, that good players are going to be able to grab onto. And if you delay it, I mean, don't get me wrong, go into study, getting laid, great.
Yeah.
Like, you know, do those things. Absolutely.
Of course,
But,
it's not worth, right?
Yeah, but you know, there's you can maybe have both. So
I don't think it's possible to play in LCS and studying. But yeah, it's like as I said before, it depends on the person. Like, no, I don't recommend going to LCS for everyone. You have to think deeply about it and think about all the stuff that will be around you, like living, even living on his own with, let's say, 6 guys he doesn't know. It's also it will be trouble for him, right?
So just in terms of whether we think this is a good move or not, I mean, this is interesting. This is someone going from TSM to Super Hot Crew. Holy shit, that's
How the mighty have fallen.
Yeah, but
yeah, I think it's a really bad move from him. But as I said, like maybe the spotlight was too big for him. He couldn't handle the pressure yet, because you have to like see it from his perspective also. He joined the LCS one split before. He played in the small Copenhagen Wolf team. No one had big expectations from him, and he did really well. Like everyone was saying, he was top jungler in Europe. And even if he had great games, but he was failing some stuff too. But no one didn't really care about it, since he was not on a big team, right? And TSM is like something totally different. And from one point, I can understand his decision, but I think like playing in TSM is like a huge thing, right?
Yeah, it is. It is. So I hope that move comes off. I'd like to see Amazing back in LCS. I think he belongs there. And maybe this new look Super Hot Crew stroke MYM team is going to be a good fit for him. Main thing is, though, as an individual, you know, I think he paid his dues in terms of going out to America, and TSM fans can be both loyal, incredibly loyal, and also incredibly vicious if things don't
But
work
always
out.
logical.
Yeah, obviously.
Oh shit, I'm fucked.
Yeah, you're dead.
Yeah.
You're dead, dude.
I'm done, boys.
But no, you know, I think it's that let's say they're a passionate fan base.
Yeah, Josh heard TSM. It's like, what, we're talking about NA now?
Yeah, he's perked up. He heard the 3 magic letters of TSM. So we'll move on. Let's talk about the complexity split. This is an incredibly fucking
finally.
weird... Here we go. Right? This is an
Watch
incredibly...
Josh know absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I know. This is where he goes. Well, you know, complexity of an organization.
I don't really pay
They're
attention.
from North America, guys.
But I mean, I know you guys can give insight. Obviously, Ram, you've got good ties to complexity as well.
Yeah.
But I'm amazed at this, because the way the Prolly situation panned out, I was just like, I mean, even when Jason Lake said to me in the podcast I did, where I did an interview with him, and he said the door's never shut, I really like him, I think he's a great guy, I was like, yeah, but Jason, you're blowing a little bit of smoke up my ass here. Like, this isn't, you know, this isn't real. There is no way back. So, but apparently there is. So they've got 2 teams going into the expansion.
The big thing.
And who is going to get the spot from the
So col.Black get the spot because they have 3 out of 5, and col.White.
I heard the org owns the spot. Like,
yes,
someone.
But the org.
I think
owns
you
the
even
spot.
said it.
Yeah, the org owns the spot, but it's kind of like they need 3 out of 5 of the players to claim it. You know, like they're the ones who own it, but if they don't have 3 out of 5 of the players, then no one does. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
need both.
So I think the big thing that we need to talk about is what the management said about the players not wanting to play with Prolly full of shit? Because 2 players just went to play with Prolly.
Okay. Well, here's what gets me is so complexity, like the organization, like the League of Legends management team comes to them and they're like, "Hey, we want to get rid of Prolly and we want to get rid of Robert X. Lee," and they're like, "What?" Because that leaves you with what? The complexity with Kez, Bubba and Westrice. That doesn't have, like, as a fan, I don't think that has a whole lot of appeal, to be honest. I think most of your fan base lies in, like, Robert and Prolly. So you can kind of stomach, like, if Prolly's that much of an asshole, like, okay, we'll do it. But if with Robert leaving too, it's like, okay, this kind of sucks. And then it made it really interesting for complexity when Robert and Probably decided to make a team together. Because eventually Bubba did end up leaving for that. And I think it was what they did was very smart. They kept their ties with Prolly and Robert. And I think it's kind of a way of if this team with Prolly and Robert does do well, then they still get to like work with them, and then they can kind of like push Kez and Westrice and the rest of them like away. Like I think as from the complexity management, they were thinking like, these are our superstars. These are who we should be building the team around. But now they were in a situation where we have Kez and Westrice, and we're trying out people. That's like kind of weird. So I think complexity management's in a pretty good spot right now, where maybe this new team with or not the new team, but the team with Kez and Westrice and them does work out, and then like, okay, this team's still very strong. But if not, and the other team's good, I mean, maybe neither of them are good. But I think ideally they want the Robert team to be good, because I think that's where their chips are kind of lying.
I feel like the better team from those two are definitely the one with Prolly, Robert, and Badabab. Like I think like those three were the players that were like performing good on complexity, and Kez and Westrice were kind of opposite for me. So
Westrice was possibly the worst player that split.
Oh, I don't know if he was the worst, but he didn't impress
off.
me. At least he didn't play too. He had some good games, but I would say he was the weak link in the team, and like they got impactful. How I think he played really poor in the promotion games. He was on the Cursed Academy, right? Yeah, so that's him. And Golden Glue, I think he's decent, and I don't know their support. And Xmithy, he was really good jungler. I don't know if he will come back to his shape, and I don't really know their top laner. So, but it looks much better than the white team.
Yeah, you're definitely right. I think it's clear which one is ahead. Two things that leapt out at me immediately about this is like I think Golden Glue is a decent player. I think he's got real potential. To use that word.
He has nice hair.
That too. So he's somebody that I kind of feel a bit sorry for him ending up on that particular team, which I don't think has a lot of potential as a whole. But also as well, how did Chaox not end up in one of these teams?
Where did Chaox go?
What the hell happened there?
Chaox just wasn't good enough, Richard. I think I don't think you.
No, I'm not saying
is Nian better than Chaox.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying he's good enough for LCS maybe anymore, but I know at one point Complexity were kind of keen on. It looked like the Chaox was going to be the front runner. And then the team thing happened with Prolly and everything, and now Chaox just seems to have evaporated. He's just disappeared. What happened?
I don't know. He just died again.
I don't know, Robert. I don't know.
Did you just call him Robert?
I did call you Robert because I was thinking Robert X. Lee, and I meant to say Richard. I don't know, Richard.
They look alike.
No,
Richard X. Lewis. There I am.
I don't. I think you're kind of a little too hard on the Chaox bandwagon. Because
how can I be on the bandwagon?
Because you were the one saying, "Oh my God, it's happening! He's going to complexity." But literally every other challenger AD carry that was competing for that spot was better than Chaox. That's just the bare hard truth of it.
Well, I guess it has to be something in it, because many teams tried him out. From what I heard, like the Saint Vicious team also tried him. So if no one decided to pick him up, then maybe he's really not good enough right now.
I mean, I'm not saying he's good enough for LCS, but I thought he was good enough to at least get a team for fucking expansion. I mean, please.
Well, that's for sure, but I don't think he would join just, let's say, the low-tier team for the expansion. If he would like to join a team, it will be a team which has a chance to win, right?
And
Vander's exactly right.
Impactful was also the second choice when I went from what I heard. They originally wanted Stixxay. People were all saying that Stixxay was probably the best challenger to carry, but he had school. So Chaox wasn't even anywhere near the top spot. Chaox was like all the way on the bottom.
Chaox is only there because nobody else wanted the spot, is I think the hard truth of it. What I do know about the whole thing was Impactful was a little bit hesitant to take the spot, just because everybody knows their manager or coach or whatever, Koobs, who's been very controversial. He actually worked with Koobs back on the Dad Slammers that became Complexity Red. This was like a little bit ago, like 6 months ago or something, and they did not get along. It's kind of funny because from what I know, Golden Glue and Impactful didn't exactly like Koobs that much, and now they're back under his wing again. So that's kind of an interesting tidbit there too.
The Koobs hype train, boys.
I think we'll get Koobs on the show one week. Would that be good, do you think, Josh? Would that be a good idea? Talk to him about it, grill him.
I mean, you could. I don't know. Like,
I don't know.
You could have better guests, I think.
Get out.
Look at Josh. Oh, I love it, man.
Before we get Koobs,
You can have better guests.
I mean, before we get Koobs, we have to get Fly. We both know that.
Maybe
Vander's like, yes, I agree.
Fly is a fucking crazy guy. But anyway, so yeah, he is, man. But anyway, so let's look at these teams objectively in the sense that do either of these fulfill what Complexity need to have a chance of winning the expansion tournament? Because I know Complexity are mad keen to get back in there, but they've missed out on opportunities. Let's not forget the Impaler. It was going to be Impaler and Casing were going to move to America and play for Complexity, and they stalled for too long, and both of those players have been acquired by other teams now. So they've ended up with this.
And who acquired Casing?
What's that?
Who acquired Casing?
I couldn't possibly say.
Oh.
But a
But
team.
it's an EU team?
An EU team.
Oh.
But you know,
I didn't hear about it.
Yeah, no, it'll come tumbling out in the next couple of days, and good for him because Casing's a cool dude.
Probably hear it in a day or two.
Yeah, I'd say so. But I think this particular they don't really have a roster that kind of satisfies what they need to win the expansion tournament, in my opinion, and obviously by extension get back into LCS. So, I mean, are Complexity kind of wasting their time a bit here, or are either of those sides real contenders to win?
I think that Black has a much better chance than White.
Yeah.
Just based off the players that they have. From what I remember, you on his stint with XDG in the relegation playoffs, was it playoffs? He seemed to be the only really good player on that team. The one concern that I have is that Smithy won't be up to par because there's a lot of hype around him, but he's completely fallen off from his super high pedestal that people had for him when he was a top tier jungler before XDG went to Worlds, or I guess when Vulcan went to Worlds.
Yeah, like switching roles around didn't help him.
No.
Sure.
And I don't know where Smithy is on the level right now. Can he get back to this top level, or even half? No, honestly, if Smithy even gets halfway back to this top level, he's still going to be better than like 90% of the junglers in Challenger. Like, let's be real.
I think it will all come down to Smithy if he can play decent games.
I don't know.
If he does, I think
honest,
Complexity has a big chance to take their spot back.
As a competitor with them, I kind of see that Smithy vibe out of pretty much every player on that team. It's like, man, it'd be nice to get back into LCS, but it's like, are they going to put in the effort to get back to that point? Because when they were playing rank 5s, it seemed like they were kind of half-assing it. And now they're just kind of casually taking the #1 spot in the Challenger tournament because it's convenient. Well, we got 3 out of 5 players. I guess we'll take it and see. We'll go from there. So, I mean, I don't know. It's going to come down to if they put the work in. They do have a chance, but honestly, like not too long ago, Robert wanted to like retire or whatever and just be a streamer. So it's like, is he serious about this? And then Bubba Dub had just jumped ship to keep playing with Robert, and then Smithy, of course, had supposedly fallen off and isn't playing well. And I don't know.
I think like Robert's statement was a bit more PR one, like. No one likes to say he got kicked, right? Better say, oh, guys, I'm going to just go streaming.
What am I reading on Twitch chat? What the fuck is this?
And did you play some games against this Complexity team? So you can maybe tell us how it goes?
Yeah, we've played against both of them in ranked 5s, and we haven't played against the Robert X Elite team in about a week and a half now. But we went like 2-1 with them, and we didn't have Macnoon yet. And I'd just like to say that people have been judging our rank 5s really hard. We are much stronger with Macnoon. Like I can just
This
promise you
Macnoon
that
Beast?
Macnoon's a fucking monster, and he's. But I don't think what a lot of people
But
don't
I hope
understand
you're not his Pokemons.
is what's that?
I hope you're not his Pokemons.
Oh my god. Yeah, but a lot of people don't understand is Macnoon is the captain of this team. He's the leader of this team. We haven't really figured out all the shot calling and whatnot yet, so he is like incredibly vital to our success, and I think we're going to be a lot stronger with him as
Is your
opposed
English
to
like decent enough to let him lead the team?
Macnoon, his I think Huhi's English is a little better, but Macnoon is much more vocal. He's much more like he's just a more colorful person. I'll put it that way. You know, you see him on stream. He knows all the insults and all that shit. So I mean,
Macnoon confirmed a rainbow.
he's just a great person. He's just hilarious to be around. But his English isn't perfect, and he knows that. But communication so far hasn't been a huge issue. I think we'll be able to, fix the things we have. But anyway, back to the point of col.Black. What the hell were we talking about them?
Well,
how they
something
compared.
about Smithy.
Oh, you're asking me how they were because we had played both of them.
Yeah, exactly. You were
again about a week and a half ago. I think we were we went like 2-1 with them, and they were pretty good. They were better than I expected, to be honest. They still played like a strong early game and whatnot, but at that point, col.White was definitely stronger, which might surprise you. But I think col.White is probably still stronger even right now because I do think that they are practicing harder and probably want it more than col.Black does. So. In time, who knows? col.White like grinded the shit out of ranked 5s, and col.Black put like 15 games in, and they're like, "Hey, wait, we can just take that free buy spot, right? All right, let's stop practicing." I'm serious. That's honestly how it happened.
You don't know if they're screaming, right? Maybe they're screaming 24/7.
I mean, maybe, but at that point, nobody was scrimming. All the teams that were playing ranked 5s. Like it was even to the point where Curse Academy was playing ranked 5s because nobody was scrimming. They already had a spot. They were just playing it to like practice against other teams.
A lot will come down to practice as well. I think like those expansion tournaments, both in Europe, especially in NA, will be like a bit random because like non-team was grouped before the tournament, so it's like all the teams are new, so the communication won't be like synergy. They won't be on LCS level for sure, I think.
So that brings me on to just general chit chat about who's going to win this NA expansion tournament. I'm really super psyched about it, and we'll come to that. I just want to say as well, though, Josh. I know I've took the Mickey out of you a little bit about Team Fusion kind of crashing and burning and whatnot. I actually don't hope that happens. I'd love you guys to go real far in the tournament, just not so far that I lose a co-host. As I've said, it's kind of got a little bit of a vested interest in your failure, but I'll be rooting for you. That said, there's some pretty tough teams in there. There's Team Coast, I think, which they've got to be considered obvious contenders. They've thrown a lot of money at assembling a team that can do the job with their European ringers instead of Korean ringers.
LOL Pro looked good too.
Yeah, I was going to bring up LOL Pro. I'm looking at the bracket now, which was published on my old website, Esports Heaven. Good job to Josh on getting that out there. I'll probably just paste it in the chat in a second.
I think it's almost like a 5-way tie.
Yeah.
CA, LOL Pro, Coast, Fusion, and col.Black.
I can break it down a little bit. So
yeah, please do, Josh.
All right, so I don't know who all has the bracket up right now, but if you do have it up, it'd be
Hold on, I'll link it in the chat. Everyone, take a second to open up the bracket. It's been linked in the chat.
Oh no! Look, Sam's on it.
Oh shit, Sam's got his game on.
Oh, Sam's on it. God.
Oh my fucking Sam.
Sam,
so
I am moist.
What do you think about Coast?
Okay, I'll get to Coast. I'm gonna start with Group A. So Group A, shit. I got
the
spinny bar. It's not open.
Zoom in a bit, Sam. Actually,
Esports. Final 5.
All right. So first of all, Zenith Esports versus Final 5. Just first of all, I want to say about Group A is overall probably the weakest group, and I don't mean weak like Complexity Black in two shitty teams. I mean, I think these three are like the closest in skill, but it's probably at the lower end of the best teams overall in this tournament. So Complexity Black, I would put probably the worst of all the top 4 seeds when I compare Coast, Enemy, Curse Academy, and Complexity Black. So Zenith and Final 5, I'd say, are pretty close in skill. I'd say they're still like a notch below Complexity Black. So I think Complexity Black should make it out of Group A, but there is a possibility that one of these two teams could make it out too. It wouldn't be that big of an upset in my opinion. It might be in some people's books because obviously this is a very hyped team with Robert and whatnot, but it would not be a huge surprise if one of these two teams did knock out Complexity Black in this best of 3. So, and then Bracket B is going to be really interesting because it's pretty much going to be Complexity White against Curse Academy. And Curse Academy, in my opinion, is the strongest team in this entire tournament. However, Complexity White, a lot of people don't give them a whole lot of credit. I do think they are a little bit stronger than Complexity Black right now, and they also have the potential to beat Curse Academy, but I still think Curse Academy is just the best team in this entire expansion tournament. So I expect them to make it out of Bracket B. Moving on to Bracket C.
Can you tell me something about the Curse Academy top lane? Like,
okay.
I know like Keen. I think he's really good. Like, I was impressed how he played in the promotion tournament, and I know all the other.
Is Keen confirmed as playing for Curse
Academy?
Yeah, that's all got sorted now. Because didn't he have some visa problems?
He played like a beast, you know, like
he was
meat and stuff. He's around now.
I played a solo queue game against him yesterday. He's here now.
So who is the Haunter?
Haunter is... He used to play top lane for Team LoLPro, the old Team LoLPro, with LOD and Eventime and a couple other players. And anyway, that team was really known for LOD and Haunter being the two superstars on that team. And I believe both of them were supposed to go to Coast, but something fell through and Haunter didn't go with him. So they probably just wanted Haunter to, or since they were both LoLPro and Curse Academy, or obviously under the Curse brand, Liquid probably said, no, you're staying with me, you're playing for Curse Academy. And Haunter is a fantastic top laner. It's probably easily top 3 top laners in the challenger scene right now. Yeah, I can't say enough good things about him. He's young, he's talented, and he's really strong.
So this team looks pretty good.
Yeah, just all around they look really good. And having played 5s against them, they're pretty terrifying, like even right now. So Bracket C. Coast versus Call Gaming. Coast is probably just going to blow this team out. And LoLPro versus Fission Esports. This is kind of a toss-up for me. I think it could go either way because Fission Esports is a Zingy's team. If any of you know anything about a Zingy, every single one of his teams is always like something to look out for to be on upset alert because we've played against this team in rank 5s and they work really well as a team. Pretty impressive, honestly. They do lack some like mid and late game judgment problems, but Zingy's like the way he plays early game lately has been really freaking annoying. He's been playing like a lot of Rengar, a lot of Pantheon, and just like walking in your jungle at level 2 and killing you. Like I want to call it cheesy, but it's so damn effective, and he does it like every game. It really works. And Zingy has a very
I've been watching your stream actually, Josh, and seen the horror firsthand. So
yeah, it's like Zingy has a terrifying champion pool because it's so random, and he's so good at these comfort picks like Fiddlesticks and Pantheon. And he plays a really good Rengar now too, which is very weird for Zingy to be playing any meta.
He's like Insect.
Yeah, sure. That's right. He did play Fiddle and Pantheon, so that's actually a really good comparison. But yeah, if anybody who's ever played in NA knows anything about a Zingy, that guy can probably just like beat anybody if he feels like it because he's just a genius. But LoLPro should win that game and be playing Coast for the spot in Bracket C. And out of the two, it's kind of another toss-up for me because I thought Coast looked really strong, but LoLPro surprised me the other day, and they beat Enemy in the Black Monster Cup finals. And honestly, I thought LoLPro was looking weaker, but then after having done that, I'm not so sure anymore because Coast, even though they did pick up Impaler and Jessis. I'm not like entirely convinced that it's a head and shoulders upgrade to when they had LOD and Santorin. I think Jessis is maybe a little bit better than LOD, but I do think Impaler is just a little bit worse than Santorin in that same aspect. So I
think
still
you
think
can compare Jessis to Link. Like I think Jessis is like a European Link a bit. That he can do some good stuff, but for the majority of games he will do something wrong. But I think he's. I'm like going back to Jessis. I think like I thought he was really improving in the summer split, and I was putting him like pretty high. But what he did at Worlds was like disaster for me.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, we talked about that last week, Vander, and yeah, it was. I mean, you know, his reputation and kind of like value as a star player, if you like, coming out of Worlds was near zero. And I think Team Coast have probably got him at a good time. You know, like this is a good opportunity for him to rebuild that rep. I think in these games that he's going to be playing here, Jessis is going to look really good.
I think the most important thing for Jessis is to give him his good champion. Like his Ari was ridiculously good.
Ziggs too.
Ziggs, those kind of champions. So Broken is sleeping, I see. So if he can get he can perform really well, I think. So I don't know what it comes down to. Maybe it's a bit random for him, but he has potential to carry this team to the LCS, I think.
For me, the interesting thing about Coast versus LoLPro is with Coast, I think that they have this really strong bot lane, and with LoLPro, they have a very strong mid and jungle. Yasui as a mid laner is somebody who can definitely, in my opinion, beat Jessis, and Thankard is very respected. He's a very strong jungler as well, and I don't think we'll have that many problems with Impaler. However, Coast bot lane, Mash and Sheep, has always been very good, and they're looking like just as dominant as ever right now. But I think if bot lane can like stay okay, because lately LoLPro has been kind of known for playing some really safe bot lanes. Like one of Wiz Fusion's favorite champions right now is Sivir, and if you've played against Sivir lately, you just you get W at level 1, you just shove the lane, you shove the lane, you shove the lane, and that kind of denies.
But Sivir is pretty weak, like in the late game.
Yeah, in late game, yeah, but it's, in my opinion, it's very good for kind of patching up a problem with like if you're not as strong at 2v2 skirmishing.
Well, you played with Fusion, right, in the coast, so like everyone says he's not a good player. What do you think about him?
Wiz did get a lot of flack. I think Wiz Fusion's like a strong challenger player as far as AD carries go. I don't, you know, this hurts to say, like being his teammate, but I don't think he's like that LCS material as an AD carry. I think he's pretty high up there, like as far as challenger players go, but I do think that there are most, if not all, the AD carries in LCS are better than him easily.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Wiz. I mean, he brings a lot to the table. He's very communicative. All that stuff's great. But when it comes down to it, I think other AD carries are just better.
Maybe he should swap to support then if he is communicative and stuff.
I mean, that's kind of funny because his support on that team is actually a former really good AD carry, Keith McBrief. He's an AD carry that I also played on a team with before I joined this team. And Keith is like an insane, he's great, he's a young AD carry, but he switched to support to play with this team. And yeah, it's kind of funny you say that because they do have like 2 AD carry players in the bot lane, right?
Did they get first at the Black Monster Cup? Because when I was watching them, they played really, really, really fucking good.
I'm trying to remember what happened in those games. I know Enemy kind of destroyed them game 1. And then game 2, I'm pretty sure Enemy had them by the balls and then they kind of threw. And then game 3, LoLPro looked really dominant.
Yeah, they looked really good in the BMC. That's the thing.
I wasn't all that convinced by LoLPro in watching them in BMC, but they did show me that they can come back when they're down, and that's going to be pretty key if you're playing against like really good teams and you can't find your footing early in the game. So I mean, yeah, Wiz Fusion, he's good, and I think he's definitely good enough to be strong in this tournament. But as far as like rating him with LCS AD carries, I don't think you can do that. I think LCS AD carries are just a little bit better.
Yeah.
And they don't play Varus.
his Varus is sick. I mean, if Varus ever becomes meta again.
We also the clip with Whale Turtle Vein and his Varus. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that kit.
Maybe he was just unlucky. It happens.
So what about the getting towards your side of the bracket?
Okay,
Josh?
now we have to talk about the fun.
Dude, there's 3 teams there that I could tell you absolutely fuck all about, and then you. Right, so things are looking good for Fusion, surely.
Okay, let's just look at brackets.
Come on, Josh. Tell me all about how Fusion are going to destroy the bracket.
Enemy versus Noble Truth. I'm pretty sure Noble Truth is like a couple of freaking like Diamond 2 players. They're just going to get destroyed by Enemy, if you ask me. I don't know anything about them. I've never heard of them, but apparently they're top whatever on the rank 5s ladder. That's great. And then we play Dank Dang Gaming.
Dang.
Fake name, I know.
Why are you laughing?
But
why you laugh? It's so funny.
Yeah, it's because I'm fucking childish.
A very interesting tidbit about that is their mid laner, Chunky, is our live-in sub right now. He's living with us.
Oh.
So
that's gonna have to change.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Well,
he's a spy, man.
Yeah, he could.
I mean, he's not going to be like playing right next to us. We have it set up to where he's going to like.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
You can hear strats and shit, and he can
Well,
be there when
maybe
you
they
do your
want-
analysis.
This
I know. I mean,
match will
there's
be
all
online,
that
right?
concern.
They can also turn off his PC during the game.
Yeah, but
I mean,
this is the other thing. Imagine if they win
Yeah, Fusion is smart.
and he has a bad game, and everyone's gonna say, "Oh, it was collusion." They
yeah, I
planted
know.
a
That's
player.
the part that scares me. Is people are going to be like, "Oh my god, they're lit. Like that's not collusion, dude. That's not fair." But I mean, I don't think Riot's really said anything about it. Like, I think we've made it clear, like, hey, like that guy lives with us. This might be a little awkward. I mean, yeah, admittedly, it's very weird. It was like kind of as a joke, like, hey, Chunky, wouldn't that be funny if we played you guys this tournament? It's like it actually happened. Now it's like shit. Like
It's not funny.
all right, fuck, it's not funny at all. So all right, but other than that, we should be able to beat his team because I just think we're better. Yeah, so that would leave us against Enemy in the match to come out of Group D. And people don't give Enemy enough credit, I think. People are like, oh, Fusion's they're just gonna go in and they're gonna make it to LCS. This is when we play them, I'm gonna say when we play them because I'm very confident that we'll be making it past Dank Dang Gaming. When we play them, it's gonna be like the most crucial match, like one of the most crucial matches we've probably ever played. Not because like they're stronger than like Curse Academy or Coast or any of them, but because it's single elimination. If we lose these guys, we're out of the expansion tournament. Like, and there's no like losers bracket. Whereas if we did beat them and then we like made it to the next round and we like lost the Complexity Black in the first round, whatever, we can maybe make it through the losers. So it's really scary that we still have to play a team of that caliber where it's single elimination, because I think it could go either way.
So, but it's best of 1 or best of 3?
It's best of 3.
Oh, it's not that bad, no.
Yeah,
it's not that bad. But
I mean,
I think
you should have more caliber there, right? I mean, with the players that you've assembled.
I mean, from an outsider, you can say that, but people don't see that Enemy is a team that was like considered weak and kind of has proven themselves to be a very strong challenger team lately. Having scrimmed against them and played against them for the past month or so on whatever iteration of a team I've been on, they are good. They are no slouch, and it's going to be a really close match, I think.
And who is the biggest threat in their team? Like, I know their top laner. He's like good Nidalee player, and the support, I think I also know him.
Their team, not a lot of people know many of the players on that team, but Liquid Inori, their jungler, is very well known for being this like carry jungler player. His 2 mains are Rengar and Kha'Zix, and he's just a disgusting Rengar player. Like he can like 1v5 on that champion. And his Kha'Zix is very strong too. He just has this style of jungling that like kind of carries his team. Their mid laner is really good too, but he plays really pokey champions. He doesn't play any assassins. I'm pretty sure they ban Zed like every game. He's really good on like Seraph. He's good on he's actually a Vel'Koz main. I don't think he'll be busting that out, but he's really known for playing as Vel'Koz mid.
Well, I think Vel'Koz is decent. Be careful, man.
No, not too worried about Vel'Koz.
We played against the Vel'Koz support in Paris Games Week. It's annoying as fuck.
No, I think I think both support and mid lane Vel'Koz is like if you can make a good environment for this pick, like there can't be Jarvan in an enemy team and those kind of champions, this pick can work out. Like his poke is really, really good, and his ultimate damage is also sick.
But I do think their strength lies in.
But he's hard to play, also.
Their strength definitely lies in Liquid and Ori, and I'd say that their top laner Cat God and their mid laner Wolf are very strong too, and very underrated. Their bot lane's like good. They're all like really. The funny thing is, a lot of the players are just kind of like underrated challenger players, and people kind of all have the same opinion about all of them. Where it's like, yeah, they're okay, but it's like they'll be whatever. But they're actually really strong when put together. They catch people off guard.
So let's just say hypothetically though, you triumph over them as I believe you should. It's great that you're respecting your opponents and managing expectations in that way. How do you think you guys are going to match up against the likes of a Curse Academy or a Coast? Because invariably, if you want to go far in the tournament, you're going to have to play them and you're going to have to beat them. Are you there yet? Is Team Fusion a genuine contender to beat that caliber of team?
Absolutely. Like when the time comes, like it doesn't matter if we can beat enemy or not, because if we want to get into LCS, we got to be able to beat like two teams, and there's Curse Academy and there's Coast. Both are very strong teams. I think when the time comes, we will be strong enough, but I think at the moment, Curse Academy. I think people are kind of overrating Coast right now. I think Curse Academy is actually head and shoulders better than Coast in like all aspects, and Coast is Coast tore it up on the rank 5s ladder, but I still think that there's teams right there with them that can definitely knock them down. So yeah, I do think that when the time comes that we are a team that is worthy of the spot in the LCS, we'll just have to prove that.
And just a final question before we move on from this topic, and that's going to be, let's say worst happens and you guys don't qualify for LCS, because I know how much the Team Fusion management have put into this project. You've got a pretty sick house, you've got a nice team, you've got international superstars, and all those models that hang out at your house and everything else. What will happen to you guys? I mean, is it...
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what'll happen, because making LCS and making this work is kind of like I don't want to say like a last option, but it's like kind of like our chance to redeem ourselves, especially for me, and I think that also goes for Macnoon, and this goes for Nien as well. This means so much to us that if we don't achieve it, like it'll just be devastating. And like this is probably the best opportunity that any of us are ever going to get to qualify through the challenger scene into LCS. And if we don't make it, then I don't know if I'll retire. I don't know if I'll join another team. I don't know what I'll do. But if you gun to my head right now, what would I do if we didn't make it? I'd say retire. But I don't know if that might change.
I thought you were going to say, if you put a gun to my head and said, what would happen if I don't achieve it? You'd say, pull the trigger. I thought you were going to get like really emotional on me for a moment there, Josh. And no, when the time comes, I will not put you down. This isn't The Walking Dead. So anyway, sorry, Vander, you were going to say.
Thorin will, though. It's
from
okay.
my point of view, three teams that will fight for the 2 spots are like Coast, Curse Academy, and you guys. So I think you have a great shot, and I wish you the best luck.
Well, thank you very much. I hope we'll be able to get that far.
You see, Josh, this is why you should be nice to people from Europe, dude. They come here. Vander's been great. He sat there. He's asked questions about your region. He's been genuinely interested. And look at how disrespectful you are to us, Europe.
is cool, man.
How was I disrespectful? I was
Europe
listening.
Cool,
I looked like I was zoned out.
It was me who brought Vander on. Do I get Any extra money from me?
I just had my resting bitch face on. Sorry.
Right. So look, that's the NA expansion tournament. Now here's something I want to just talk about on air. When the tournament kicks off, obviously, Josh, you'll be playing in it, hopefully for a long time. But what I was thinking was we could maybe do like 1 hour dailies where we jump on to the Skype and talk about the tournament and how games are going and blah blah blah, and kind of I'm really hyped for the tournament. So I'd love to do that. I think our fans want us to do that. I think we've got an obligation to do that. I know Brokenshard's got nothing going on, so maybe. No, it's okay, dude. So maybe Josh, you could jump on between little bits. That'd be nice.
Yeah, be great.
Yeah, there we go. I've forced you in the public eye to commit. That's like when a guy proposes to his girlfriend at like a sports game. He knows that she can't say no. Anyway, so let's talk about our final topic for tonight. And it's a bit of a tangential thing, a bit of fun to close off the show. So as we mentioned at halftime, there was an incident in ESWC where in a female CSGO tournament, 2 of the teams got embroiled in a fight after the qualifier. And I should actually say, technically it wasn't 2 of the teams because Team Imaginary came out and distanced themselves from one of the aggressors. Basically, to summarize, Reason were kind of accused of being, foreigners and not true French representatives. One of the females who apparently isn't a coach, but is just a fan of Team Imaginary, was exchanging texts with the girls.
Read it up.
Right, okay, I'm going to do it.
Oh,
you guys have to hear this. This is fucking great. This is actually the best thing I've ever heard. Richard, please.
I'm doing it. I'm on it. Hold on. I got to bring it up.
Just fucking read it. It's brilliant.
Yeah, I'm coming. So, where was it? Where was the quote? Oh my God, where's the thing?
Oh, come on, you had it like right before.
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
And then I panicked.
And it's gone.
No, I've got it.
The background is one of the players was a lesbian. Okay, you got it.
I got it. Okay, so one of the players who was being the aggressor on behalf of Team Imaginary, but in no way linked to Team Imaginary, went to one of the recent gaming females that she was going to beat her up, and she got a text back from one of the Reason players saying, "Next time I see you, I won't even talk. I'll jump straight on your face, hoping by the time I reach it, you won't have eaten my pussy, you dirty lesbian." And she published this actual text, made it public, so that it's inarguable that was actually said. One of the greatest insults of all time. It's like
great.
something. If they made like Die Hard with like an all-female cast, I think that's one of the lines that would probably be in there. But anyway, the reason we're talking about this on a League of Legends show is I thought it would be kind of fun to talk about some of the great flare-ups that have happened in League of Legends, because we know that fisticuffs have occurred at certain points. So let's do it, guys. Let's talk about fisticuffs from our
historian. So we got WCG. We got Mr. Kuja and Linek exchanging a couple of punches. I heard that Kuja gave Linek a black eye.
Yeah.
Not surprising, because these 2 players are known in the scene to be very, very toxic. Linek is apparently still banned from the LCS. Yeah.
So what happened there? What caused it to come to blows? Tell us the full story.
So Kuja and Linek have been at this time on many different teams together. If people remember, Kuja and Linek were actually on the same team that got 2nd place at DreamHack when they were in Team AAA. They've also played on many different teams. I think at one point they were on Cypher, but mostly it was Millennium. And it was at WCG, so it was a full French lineup, and there was an argument that happened between the 2, and it ended with Kuja just socking Linek right in the fucking face. I think he had a bruised or a sprained wrist, and Linek had a black eye.
I got invaded, man.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Okay, continue.
No worries.
Then I heard some rumors about in Tales of the Lane, with Kuja again getting into a physical altercation with fans who insulted him, and then Heidal, known as Ziz now, kind of got involved in defending him. But there was some fights going on there between the French crowd. So what I've learned today is that the French are very aggressive people.
Today I learned.
Is UK aggressive?
UK is also very aggressive, but
No.
Oh, Yuki. No, Yuki is not aggressive. He just wants to eat French fries all the time. I'm not joking. But you have something you'd like to share about a fist fight that happened. Not necessarily a fist fight, more like a headlock that happened in NA. Richard or Nintendude? Which one of you guys would like to bring that up?
I think everyone knows it. I think Josh tells the story better.
All right, so
Give it to me, Josh.
So just for the record, I'm not the one spilling the beans here. Apparently, Richard says, "Oh, everybody already knows it happened."
Yeah,
So
it's been up on Reddit multiple times. It keeps getting took down for witch hunting and stuff.
so there's a situation in the Coast House. This is in the summer split of season 3. This is when we became Team Coast from GGU. This is like week 4 into the season or something. I remember this day because it was actually the day of my birthday or the day after my birthday. I can't remember. All I remember was being dead sick, so I couldn't scrim. I was just like
day after birthday. So now we know why you were sick.
Yeah, exactly.
Hangover.
Oh yeah. No, it wasn't.
I was coincidentally ill the day after my birthday.
It wasn't that. But Shifter drop kicked elements. Oh my god, this chat. But okay. So I remember going downstairs to like make soup or something, and the team was scrimming at the time, and Elements was actually filling in for me in the jungle. And this must have been in between scrims, and I heard a discussion being had, and it must have been pretty loud because if I could hear it from downstairs, then it was a little more than their inside voices. Then I remember something being said, something between Mashme and the rest of the team, and then Daydreamin' butts in saying something like, "You're a hook magnet" or something. Because this is a time when like Thresh and Blitz were getting played a lot, and I guess he ate like shit tons of like Blitz hooks or Thresh hooks, which was kind of true. The Mashme got really fucking upset about that, and kind of went at Daydreamin' and sort of I didn't see it, but I heard he choked him, and it got very loud for a few seconds. I was alone downstairs, sick, wondering if I was fucking hallucinating or what the hell was going on.
That Coast's godly team.
So yeah, I think it was because they lost like a scrim to Velocity or something. I shit you not. And like losing to Velocity was pretty fucking bad. So tensions were high, and yeah, apparently that happened. I didn't see it myself, but I can confirm something went down because I was in the house. But yeah, I don't think things were.
How do you fix that though after something like that happens?
Things were never the same after that. I mean,
things were never the same.
Things were never the same.
Daydreaming was
come
never
on,
the same.
Oh my god.
If I was daydreaming and my AD carry got mad as fuck because I gave him criticism, Coast equals MMA. Holy shit!
You just imagine, I could just imagine like Mashme sitting in the corner smoking a cigarette, glaring at Daydreaming just sitting there, like clutching himself with like the 1,000-yard stare, and Dylan Mashme's like, "Was it as good for you as it was for me?" And then like putting his cigarette out on fucking Daydreaming. This is what it sounds like. It was never the same. But then you guys ended up replacing Mashme anyway. But I guess the real question is, did this incident influence that change?
Oh yeah, it's funny because the change didn't come for like another 2 or 3 months or something like that. But the reason that Mashme was benched wasn't because of his bad relationship with Daydreamin', it was because of his bad relationship with Shifter.
Okay, but everyone
he did something that pissed Shifter off. He didn't fight Shifter.
No.
He didn't make that mistake twice. But
Shifter drop kicked him.
Yeah, Shifter drop kicked him, and it got ugly. And yeah, John Cena ended up winning against all odds.
I heard
the passion of the Cena.
I heard in CW the players were doing a bit different. Like they were not punching each other, but like they were punching walls or chairs. So what do you know about it, Brokenshard?
I can confirm that I've never seen anyone punch a wall or chair. Though
I saw Brokenshard go through a table.
Oh yeah, I did see Woolite stand up and say, "I spit on him." You're probably gonna have to get used to that. That crazy little.
I'm already fed up with this.
Vander's like, "I'm too old for this shit."
So
I've in my entire history of esports, I've never been in a physical altercation between teammates. I've had people threaten to beat me up at events, just random people who didn't like me. It actually did happen at Paris. Someone pushed me and then walked away and said, "You filthy Jew," or something like that. But I've never actually been physically assaulted or seen someone physically assaulted on a team. It seems like it's very rare, or I just don't know jack about it.
So, Vander, as a guest, we'll give you the last word. I mean, come on, you can level with us. Have you ever wanted to fight your teammates?
Oh, yeah, I would defend my teammates for sure. Like in Roccat, we had some small fights too, but nothing really serious. And yeah, I guess it's like the thing in Coast was like one time thing pretty much. So it's the end of the show already.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're about to bounce, but look, I wanted to pin you down and get you to say something bad about someone.
Pin him down, Jesus, Richard. Don't hurt the guy.
Come on, just Vander, please, just shit talk somebody, please.
I thought I'm a good cop here, and you're the bad one. So.
No, fuck it. I tried, guys. I tried. So yeah, I think we will wrap up there. So it's good. There you go. We're lifting the veil. We're not all mature people, and fistfights do happen in League of Legends. But I want to thank my guest, Oscar. I think he's been brilliant. Just so you know, Oscar, you're blowing up on Twitter. Everyone's tweeting super nice things about you, saying you were a better host than me today, and that you should take over the show. So, guys,
it's not true, man.
Ram and Josh, they've got an option now, and they may choose it. Josh, all the best for the expansion tournament, and thanks a lot for being so open and honest about your team's chances, and indeed about Don't Mash Me's headlock skills. Ram,
you forced me into that one. I didn't want to say anything.
Ram, apparently the Casing the Gamers 2 thing was published on the Daily Dot. And I had no idea, so I was hiding it, but it's out there now, dude. So congratulations on your new player, and congratulations.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Obviously, and congratulations on a great show.
It turns out that Yuki is aggressive, actually. Maybe he
I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about.
Yep. Okay. Well, and we didn't bring up the Ocelot thing either again because we did that to death on Trash Talk last night.
There's not really much to bring up. It's over.
Yeah,
now.
It's done. It is done and done. So all that remains to be said is I want to thank all of you guys. I want to thank everybody out there for watching the show.
Can I say one thing about
Ocelot? Oh yeah, absolutely. Fucking jump in.
Okay, I think like everyone puts him goes. He doesn't deserve that bad spotlight everyone puts on him. That's what I think. Like, I think it's not his fault, everything that he's accused of. And I'm not saying he's like a saint or a good guy, because he did some stupid things also. But in general, I think he gets too much hate from you guys, so you can be a bit more nice to him.
Are we talking about Ocelot here?
Yeah.
Ram works with him. It couldn't get any nicer. Like Ram is the propaganda machine. He's here to say nice machine.
No, yeah. I don't. I can only say about my personal experiences with Ocelot. I have never been short of a payment in the time that I was working with Gamers 2. I was also briefly working specifically with Ocelot in the summer split of 2013. Never short on a payment there. Always on time, in full. I've always been treated with Ocelot in a very professional and respectful manner in private. In public, he tells me to shut up. As a joke, but like, I guess not only do we have a good friend relationship, I have a good working relationship with Ocelot. Whatever has happened with other people, I can only say that I've had only good experiences. And that's not me worrying about my job, because I said last night I really couldn't give a shit about my job, keeping my job or being fired. I just, like, this is just an honest opinion that I've only had a good personal and working relationship with Ocelot thus far.
I have one question. Like, Last Shadow asked him 200 euros for how much of coaching? It's 1 hour or what? Because I heard he asked him...
I don't know. I don't know the specific amount.
Shit,
I should get in the
He's
coaching.
rating himself high. Well.
I'm sure Thorin would disagree with you there, Josh.
Oh, thanks, Richard.
But then, okay, Oscar, is that good? Have we been nice enough? Are we nice enough? We're all friends again?
Yeah, sure, man.
Awesome, great news.
Do you have time to talk about IEM?
No. Oscar's got to go. He got invaded earlier. I'm guessing. He's got cool things to do.
I still have some time.
Are we gonna do IEM then?
Let's just
Dude,
fucking do it.
I just did a wicked like outro, and now we're just gonna fuck it. All right, fuck it. You
So
guys,
unicorns of love going to IEM.
You have
What are
to
your thoughts
cut
on this?
the outro part and paste it like after this.
yeah, so we can't overwork Sam. He's already done production values today, so if we start getting into editing, I'll have to pay him more. So, and I don't want that.
I hope he doesn't take as much money as LS.
Boom. Right. So, okay, IEM, Unicorns of Love. Let's do it. Let's talk about it. I mean, they're going to get ruffle stomped, aren't they? Every game.
I don't know how well they've been doing in scrims now, but right before we left, right after we came back from Brazil, or we played against them, or we heard people playing against them, and we heard that they were just losing to every team in scrim. So I don't know. I expected them to be a lot better with Kikis, honestly, because I think that he's much better than Julius. I don't know what that laugh is about, but that's just my honest opinion.
No, I'm laughing. I've just seen on the stream production values are at it again, guys. Sam's got the vote up.
Jesus, that production value. No, I don't think that they will have a very high chance to succeed in that tournament, but they do have these really cheesy picks that they could pull out. Maybe we could see some of that. That could really put a game in their favor. Poppy, Hecarim, like the shit that Vizichachi plays all the time. There's
I think Vizichachi is like a guy who didn't get much of a spotlight, and I think he's really good.
I mean, I was doing a phone-in show last night called Trash Talk. A guy called in and said he was really pissed off that Unicorns of Love had won the vote to go because he wanted to see a team that could genuinely compete with NA, and he doesn't think Unicorns of Love are one of them. And yeah, sorry, what were you gonna say?
Can I say something? When I looked at the European teams you could vote for, who else are you going to vote for? There's
SK.
like teams with incomplete rosters. SK has like what, 2 players they haven't confirmed.
Well, I guess
Who
it's
else was
their
there?
fault they didn't announce the roster, because
Yeah.
I think
mean-
if they would announce the 2 players, then probably they would win the
Forgiven
vote.
and what the fucks. Yeah, definitely.
I mean,
I
people
didn't
can
say
get pissed
anything.
like it's like, oh, they just did it because their stupid ass name. But you know what? They're the only team on that list who had confirmed their entire roster. So, you know what? If I'm a fan, why am I voting for a team if I don't know who the hell's playing on it?
Yeah,
That's the way I see it.
They have a cool name, right? So they won the vote. But I think I have to agree that they don't have a lot of chance against the NA teams. But it's good for them. Like they get some experience before the LCS, and they didn't play much against top teams, right? Except the scrims. So I'm happy for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good opportunity for them. I said so last night. But here's my theory. I think EU fans are getting so sick of the whole NA being superior to EU talk that actually they didn't want to send that you know what they did was they sent the worst team out of the 4 because then if they lose they can go yeah but they're not even they're not a real team, they're not
Excuses are lined up, man.
yeah. That's honestly I think there's a little bit of kidology there because what if we send SK Gaming and they get shit on? There's then people are going to be back on the NA greater than EU train, and I just think EU fans are getting a little bit sick of it right now. So I wonder.
For me, it's like obvious they won the spot because they played Poppy and they have unicorns in their team name.
Yeah, well, it could be that as well.
It's funny, but that's how I see it.
I mean, it's just one theory. Your theory is good as well. I mean, it would have been nice though. I think to have seen. I certainly would have preferred to see SK Gaming there. Hell, I would have taken the new look super hot crew. Copenhagen Wolves. I think all of those teams are better equipped to.
I would like Curse in
compete
the
against
tournament and see Piglet.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Oh shit, we didn't even talk about that. Simon, we'll wrap up IEM.
Big thing.
We'll wrap up IEM. But yeah, so I mean, American teams are looking pretty good. For IEM, I don't really see a lot of resistance from Europe, at least. Final thoughts about Unicorns of Love? I mean, are they one to watch?
If they pull out some cheesy strategy, that's their only chance to take games off them. I think just in terms of like individual skill and team play, they don't stand a chance against the other teams. But they are a team to traditionally pull out this really weird shit. And if there's any ever time to cheese, it's I guess at that point. And That would be their best bet. So teams would have to be a little bit wary about the fucking cheesy, man. Like, it could throw people completely off.
If you guys want to see how Frogen and High play against Cassiopeia, Meat, or some Mordekaisers, then you can you should watch Unicorns of Love.
Yeah, right. So the final thing I wanted to bring up, I nearly forgot actually, was we saw, I mean, there was a couple of posts about it on the front page of the League subreddit, and it was people talking about Piglet saying he was going to bring double lift down a peg or two, and he was going to be the dominant AD carry in the region. But he singled out double lift for a bit of trash talking. So I just thought I'd get your opinions about this, because I think this is really interesting. Usually it's double lift that's doing the trash talking and putting people in their place, which I guess has less potency when you've just narrowly missed out on being relegated. But, you know, Piglet, we all know his credentials and the caliber of player he is, and he seems to be gunning for that top spot and highlighting, you know, double lift as someone that he's going to thoroughly enjoy beating. So open forum, guys. How do we see this all panning out?
I think it's going to be hilarious. It is like Piglet, that little smirk that he has, I guess. I think that him going to Curse does look really good for them. Like, their roster seems to kind of have been rounded out a little bit. Cop was never bad, but he was never like the huge playmaker. Maybe Piglet could be that thing that they need. And I think it's arguable to say that Curse are better than CLG when they had Cop. Having a little bit of that trash talk, it's a little bit refreshing to kind of see that trash talk be shot towards double lift.
I mean,
yeah,
it's just classic freaking Koreans and their silly shit talk. I mean, in all the OGN videos, they know what to say.
Yeah, they
the
shit talk
OGN
each
videos
other.
are the best.
They're great, and I think that Piglet is used to that. So this might not be the only time we see shit like this. I know that Riot really like to have a little bit of hype in the pre-video shows, you know. I think Piglet's going to go all the way with that stuff and be like, yeah,
I hope so.
I'm going to. He's like, yeah, you see double lift cry or something. I don't know, like, just
Isn't there a risk that we're going to end up too much like pro wrestling, though?
Oh my god!
I hope so.
Piglet's gonna walk on the stage.
I would
with
love my
a
own theme
belt.
song. Holy shit!
They're gonna start putting like these little fluff places where the guy walks onto the stage in like a suit with his belt over his, like, just talking mad shit. There's gonna be like a mystery entrance from Shifter just drop kicking Piglet or something like that. Like, I don't know.
Is it a matter of time before halfway through a game, like a CLG player rips off a jersey to reveal a TSM?
Yeah, dude, double lift turned heel this week. It was crazy.
Yeah. But no, I look, I love shit talk and trash talk, I think, when it comes from a genuine place. And I'm kind of hoping with Piglet, he legitimately wants to kind of do these things and achieve these things. But I gotta say, you know, if it's gonna be like what Josh says, some sort of cheesy every week, you know, I'm going to beat everyone because I am the best, boo boo, like, you know, fuck that. Like, League of Legends doesn't need that, you know.
But what I like about the NA scene is the players are creating some hype, and you have like some duels, let's say, like double lift gonna trash talk someone or someone else is gonna trash talk the other guy, and that's why people like tend to watch NA more often. Like Reggie had fight with Monte Cristo, and that's why all this CLGTSM hype as well. Now everyone will be trying to watch CLG against Curse and see how the AD carries match up. And in Europe, no one ever did this, and that's why I also think people, not that many people are watching EU as NA, and it can't be part of it. That we are more like friendly to each other, I feel, in Europe.
Well,
which is amazing, because the solo queue experience.
Hilarious.
It's true.
Real.
There's nothing friendly about EU West right now. There's really nothing friendly about EU West. It's just that it's not as
shown. Are flaming. Okay, I know 3 of them, which are. I know
bad you guys. Flamed me like all the time in solo queue, Vander.
Me?
No, I'm just joking. No, I mean, but like the solo queue experience is like. It's like dragging your balls against AIDS-infested glass or something. That's like the EU West experience. And sorry for the graphic.
He's done it again. He's done it again. End of a show. It's all going so well. And then
why? Yeah, why do you have to bring AIDS, Ebola, or racism into every show?
It's because I'm from
Ram.
EU West, man. No, but like,
I agree. ULCS is a hard environment to practice, but that's how it is. Europe, conflicts, man, like world wars, all this kind of stuff, you know.
it's just that it's not as. I think that in EU it's a lot more serious, but it's not shown. Where NA it's a lot more fluff, and it's like publicized the crap out of. And a lot of it.
When I watch the NALCS like Bjergsen streams, the NA solo queue, for me it feels like a normal game because no one cares about how the game is going. And in EU, if someone is gonna die, then he should ignore everyone in the team already.
Yeah. It's just, I think a lot of it also has to do with, well, basically it's just the personalities thing. Like, there's a lot more interesting personalities in Europe where I guess our most interesting personality is the boy kid wonder who changes his hair once a week, Reckless. Like, there isn't much to work with on EU. We're mostly introverted people, if you're going to be honest. Like, when you really think about it, a lot of the people are, to the public eye, to the camera, very introverted. But when you actually get to know them in person on a personal level, a lot of people are party animals. For example, like Wicked, or that's just one example, right?
He is a party animal.
Right then, guys, we'll wrap it up there. Josh, I'm looking forward to seeing your boys over at Fusion dropping some trash talk for the expansion tournament. That's what I want to see. So I expect a press release from you guys very soon from Macnoon.
We got Macnoon, dude. Look no further for trash talk.
That's what I'm saying. I'm expecting big things. But anyway, we'll do the wrap up again. So I want to thank you for coming on the show, Oscar. You've been
thank you for the invite.
Dude, you've been a great guest. Seriously, I think everyone's been incredibly impressed with you. I mean, everyone, look, it'll happen in a second. Everyone's going to spam like Vander, and it's going to be like, you know, the end of like
Vander.
The end of Rocky 4. The end of Rocky 4. Rocky. It's going to be like that. Josh, great input as always on all things American, less so European. Ram, all the best. I'm looking forward to seeing what your boys pull out as well in the European expansion tournament. And
good luck, both of you guys.
Yeah, lots to talk about in that. And thanks to all of the viewers who, of course, make this show what it is. I've been Richard Lewis. That was First Blood. Peace out. Have a nice night.
Good night.